all alone.
You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got
All
what you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Hey. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Hey. Final round. I already know how I'm coming, man. Yeah. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. From an ounce to a pound, take it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right out the sea, how could they be? Give me a couple of rounds, cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see they start crumbling now, mad struck start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for clout. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look how I freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP.
Take over the west and the east. Hey, we got just what you need on vitamin G.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dante Crisis back with your weekly dose of vitamin G, and with me are the Power Rangers of gaming themselves. First of all, the Yellow Ranger, Mr. Pharaoh Bazaar. Tell me, how are you today, sir?
Don't disrespect me like that. I'm not the Yellow Ranger. I'm either the Green Ranger, the Gold Ranger, or the White Ranger. Any of the ones that Tommy played. That's me.
Aren't they all versions of the same person?
Yes.
They're all the same
Any of them
person.
that
I mean,
Tommy
you could be
played,
the Black
that's me.
Ranger then from a different gen, right? Because Tommy was a Black Ranger.
No, he was the Gold Ranger, and the Gold Ranger was black.
None of you
With
can
gold
be
accents.
none of you can be the Black Ranger, because then I'm racial profiling.
Gold Ranger. Alright, not much. Little bit of Scarlet Nexus. Went headfirst into Forza Horizon this weekend.
Yeah.
That was great. And that's about it.
Alright, and moving on to the Blue Ranger himself, Kofi! What's good, man? What have you been up to? Aside
What's
from
going on,
missing
guys?
podcasts.
Yeah, I've missed many podcasts. I haven't been on Twitter for about a month now. And primarily, I wanted to focus on this Zero Field project, again, translating this newest Trails game in the series, 11th game in the series. It came out September 29th. The Zero Field team and I'm more a piece of the greater picture. We've all contributed a great deal. And, the game has a lot of chapters. I hate spoilers, so I won't say that. But we are well past 40% of the main story. And then we basically have two main translators doing the main story. And then the rest of us are doing all of the side quests. So each of us have maybe a chunk of somewhere between 1,500 to 2,000 lines. I just crossed the 1,500 mark, so I'm going to probably pick up a couple more quests. So working with these guys has been an absolute pleasure. In terms of the actual game, I haven't finished the game myself, but I'm deep into, I'm 2 chapters from the end of the game. Absolutely love it. So many great things to say. I haven't really played much else. I wanted to, share some details and some other things I was doing that were fun. I did end up picking a NVMe M.2 storage expansion for the PS5, which was really convenient to control from the PlayStation app, and I've been having a good time with that. And then I also have a Japanese PSN account, which has allowed me to take advantage of the beta program for sharing photos and videos that instantly get sent to be accessible from your phone. And that has been awesome because it's something I always wanted to use, at least when I return to Twitter or when I want to share videos. Now I don't even have to look at my PlayStation. I can just go to my phone once it's saved. So things like that have been really great. But I picked up some games on sale. That was it. Reggie, shout out to you for less than $20. Physical version of Hades was on sale.
God damn it! Don't stop this man about it.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you guys know about this little game called Hades.
Don't start the Pink Ranger on this.
It is just absolutely fantastic. Like, if you haven't picked it up yet, it's a superior roguelike. You play as the main character Zagreus, who is sort of trying to escape hell from his dad, the titular Hades. Voice acting is solid. You just need to go pick it up. It could always use more people playing it, more exposure. Just get it out there. Tell your friends, go pick it up. Excellent game.
What the fuck have you done? Why? Just why? Damn it.
I forgot he has a campaign. But yeah, for PS4 and PS5 versions are like $19, something like that on Amazon. So that's like a real steal in my opinion, especially because I hadn't owned the game. But yeah, other than that, man, really just focusing on Trails. Not really much else. I will be getting into some other horror stuff. Like Dante, I was talking to you briefly about Tormented Souls, which was also on sale.
Yes.
A horror game. So I picked it up, but haven't touched it.
You've been gone from Twitter for a while, so you've just missed like all the fun.
I've seen some crazy things, but I'm glad I missed.
The fuck did he miss? The fuck did he miss?
It's been an insane time since you left. Like, new villains have arose, and like old villains have disappeared. It's been a wild ride.
I've heard about some of them.
New rules have established about whether or not gamers should be presenting themselves and how they should be doing it.
Well,
maybe don't have your doors locked.
Maybe don't keep your dick pics on your phone, but that's another story.
Whoa!
It's been a
gamer got exposed exposing himself.
Did that happen? I missed that one.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like we're searching for your gamer tag and something else pops up.
Yeah.
Alright, and he spoke out of fucking turn, campaigning with his propaganda of Hades is the Pink Ranger himself. Zero, what have you been up to?
Pink Ranger? The Red Ranger's right there. He's right there. Whatever.
Yeah, but he ain't you, so why the fuck would I pick the Red Ranger? Jubei isn't here yet.
I can do cool gymnastics.
Wait, hold on. The Red Ranger is right there, then tell him to get in here. Jubei's late again.
He said he's on his way. Pink Ranger? I never even liked Kimberly. She was whack for real. Like,
listen, just be comfortable in your sexuality and accept the pink already and give us your intro.
That's fine. Anyway, hey everybody, Zero here. I've been just in the world of Guardians of the Galaxy as usual. Also been like in my free time when I'm not like playing Guardians, and back to like I mentioned it last week, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. Also, this kind of very addictive. It is a Dante, you might be familiar. I think they're called auto battlers.
Gibbs, when you preset a character, give him a loadout, stats, and then you just send him off into a battle, and it automatically does it. Yeah, I know auto battlers. A lot of them have. There's a couple I know and have severe fucking balance issues, but go on. Yeah,
I'm a little obsessed with this one called Super Auto Pets, which is it's an auto battler. It's you get a bunch of animals, you load them up with a loadout, and then just sort of fight against each other and win. But I've not been able to like put it down since I've started it. It's a weird. I'm not gonna say it's great, but it's a good time waster. It doesn't take a lot of effort. It's free. It's free on Android, but I also believe it's on Steam, and I believe it's free is there because it's sitting in the beta currently. Otherwise, I dived into PS Now last week and played Sonic Team Racing, which is a pretty solid racing game. I think I played it on the Vita, but it feels like a totally different game. And I need to look into that because the one I remember on the Vita didn't have like much of a story.
Don't lie, we all know the only person who owns a Vita is Kofi.
Hey, there are two of us. I too own a Vita.
All two people.
My charger's broken, so it's a kind of dead Vita at the moment. But as soon as I buy another charger, I'll be back in there. But yeah, like now it's a whole story about a guy who probably is Eggman, but he's saying I'm definitely not Eggman, inviting us to race, and everybody's just racing.
That sounds like Eggman Naga. The one from the alternate universe.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a solid kart racer. It's no Mario Kart, but that's okay. It's its own thing. Otherwise, that's largely been it. I'm just trying to get through Guardians and figure out whatever my next move is.
I don't know. Fair enough. And since Jube is not here, he can go to the back of the queue. As far as me, played some Sea of Thieves today, which Jube was there for a little bit, but he didn't join us. Been playing. I have been bitten by the bug, and I'm sure I'm going to be bitten by some bugs in the game itself. Been playing Fallout 4 again. I've been creating big, giant, fucking monstrosity of buildings, which look like fortresses. Halo 2 on Legendary, which... Oh, what a great game! Decided to disconnect me and Nurgle while we was playing it on 4 separate occasions. One of them while we was halfway through Metropolis. And co-op doesn't save checkpoints, so you'd have to start it from the very fucking beginning, free for free, where you get your shit together.
Is that when I jumped in there? Right before you guys lost everything?
Yes, I think that was then. Because we were halfway through Metropolis, the game disconnected us, and then we had because the co-op, at least online co-op, doesn't save fucking checkpoints, you actually have to restart the entirety of a chapter. So, yeah, we're going to be tackling fucking Metropolis again on Wednesday. Yeah, I also didn't know that fucker had Iron Skull on by default. So, if one of us dies, that's it. It isn't like me and Jube when we played Halo 1. No, if one of us dies, the other one isn't carrying the team. It's fucking over. Back to the checkpoint with you.
Do you at least have Party Skull on as well?
No, I don't have... Wait, Party Skull, what's that do?
When you shoot them in the face, they explode, and like the crowd like, yay!
Unfortunately, no, though that might cheer me up. I might put that on if it's a joke one and doesn't affect the
it
score.
doesn't add anything to it other than...
I might just add that to cheer us up for the next one. In fact, if there's more like that, I might do that for each stream. Like, the next Wednesday stream is going to have the party one. Then the next week is going to have another joke one if there is more than one. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to do any recording this weekend because, unfortunately, not to bring the mood down, but I got struck with some tragedy on Friday. My cat Missy, who I think I've actually shown on one of the podcasts before, unfortunately died.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she.
It probably come as no surprise, but I'm a huge cat person.
Yeah, she not to go into severe problems, but she had a stroke, and when we took her to the vet at 11 p.m, we found out that she'd had it, and it had really messed her up, and we had to unfortunately put her down, which broke me. I ended up. Sorry. I ended up because it was so late, and I don't know, the thing that rubbed me the worst way, and I don't blame the veterinarian for this. You know, they gotta get paid and everything, but like what really sent me over the edge was when they slapped a 400 fucking pound bill on us for the consultation, the actually having to have a put down, the cremation, and to get the ashes back.
Learn healthcare.
No. But I fucking drained everything I had just to do that because I wanted her home. I did not just want her left there. I wanted her fucking home. Anyway, that's my weekend. I apologize for bringing the goddamn mood down.
Well, if you give me a second to derail, I just had a question to Kofi.
Go ahead.
I'm very curious about the whole. I think you mentioned this before about the translation thing. I'm assuming who makes trials?
That was a Cold Steel?
Or what you are translating, like, are you allowed to do that?
He's dead, Jim.
I think we lost him. Well, we'll hold. Because I was curious about the idea of, like, I guess, is this official?
Or is this an official translation or is it a fan translation?
Was it a fan translation?
Okay, I can actually cover this for you. Fan translations are generally frowned upon by the developers.
Right.
And a lot of the time, some developers just don't fucking care. For example, Mother. The guys behind the Mother series did not care about the Mother free translation. I mean, people even sell reproduction carts of Mother free translated for the GBA at cons. But they don't do it. They don't care. They don't really necessarily care about it because they're hard to track down. But they're generally actually frowned upon.
Gotcha. Okay, so I guess as usual, so long as you don't make too big of a noise,
yeah,
you'll be all right.
Yeah, you don't.
I mean, I guess wouldn't it kind of depend on the market too? Like they don't care. Like if like it gets translated into a language that is a market that they don't typically translate to. Like if it was like, for instance, like
it does if it's cutting into possible
that's what I'm saying. If it's into a market that they don't necessarily get, like if
from Japanese to Farsi.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't have
maybe,
really
but you're still encroaching on their intellectual property.
If you're not selling it, it's just a fan translation.
Yeah.
It depends on how it's applied. Like for our situation, we have an application that runs on top of it, so there's no real legal ramifications. But like I was saying for the Nippon Ichi situation where they were changing the code that was actually released on Steam, they have rights because they announced that they own the IP now, at least in this region.
So you're not effectively changing the game, you're just running something over top of it.
Yeah, exactly. So like for our situation, nobody has ever said anything. The issue happened when our translation team was reached out by another team. They're like, we want to literally map your language changes into the game on the PC version, because the PC version came out like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. And then that's when they got the cease and desist letter.
Yeah, because you're effectively fucking with a game and basically adding a selling point for you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah, like with the Mother thing as well, it kind of goes into that grey area because Mother Free's never going to be fucking translated ever, fucking never. And I think Nintendo knows this, so it's like the one thing they don't seem to fuck with. But it's always sold on like a local level. It's never sold on an open market.
They're keeping their head down. And
pretty goddamn much. They're afraid Daddy Nintendo gonna be sending the fucking kamikazes after them.
Which they will.
Fucking Pearl Harbor 2.0.
But the one thing I don't get is how it messes with your profits, because you're still buying the game if you're using the translation.
I don't fucking know. I'm just saying what's true.
Do you mean for our situation, or you mean for Mother?
I'm just saying in general, like when you translate a game in general, for instance, like in your instance, Trails.
Yeah.
People want to play that game and they can't because there's not an English version of it. Well, if you do a translation, then you make it an attractive purchase for them right now. They'll buy it right now.
So here's the
your translation.
Here's a reason for Trails. I can't speak for Nintendo because I think they're being I think you guys are right the way you're describing that. For this version of Trails that's only in Japanese on the store, it's a different publisher than the team that's going to publish it in the West. So it's Nippon Ichi Software in America. It's Lion Entertainment in Korea and Japan.
Okay.
So you see that? So now fans will be buying the Chinese version with the English translation and forget Nisa, because that game is not coming out till 2024. The game I'm translating now probably won't be out till like fall 2024. And that's because Nippon Ichi is on the hook for translating all the other games that were never translated. So they're doing Crossbell, and now they're doing the sequel to the Cold Steel games. And the sequel to the Cold Steel game isn't until 2023. So it's almost concrete that it's going to be after that. So now Nippon Ichi, let's say they come out 3 years from now, and let's say half the fan base has bought this Chinese version with the localization, or our localization. Now, some fans don't care about our fan translation, well, that's fine. But they sent that cease and desist, so they care.
Alright, now, speaking of pointing fingers in every other which fucking direction, Squeenix, the fuck you doing? Well, I mean, this is what Pharaoh thinks Squeenix is doing. But let's actually read the article, because Square Enix has called Marvel's Avengers disappointing. Newsflash. No shit. Your game no good. Your game no good. So, in a Square Enix annual report of 2021, company president and representative director Yusuke Matsuda. Holy shit, I said that without fucking it up. Discussed Marvel's Avengers, calling it an ambitious title for us, in that we took the gas, well, it's almost like fucking passing gas, games as a service model. However, he went on to say, perhaps with some understatement, that it was unfortunately not proven as successful as we have liked. It's because you're doing game as service. Not everybody wants a game as service. Anyway, after explaining the difficulties like the translation to work from home during the pandemic had to be overcome during the live service superhero games development, Matsuda admitted the way Marvel's Avengers was monetized was what held it back. Nevertheless, he said, taking on the gas model, I swear to God, if that's actually what they're going to go forward with calling it, it's just going to meme the shit out of it. I'm just going to meme the crap out of it. The gas model highlighted issues that we are likely to face in future game development efforts, such as the need to select game designs that mesh with the unique attributes and tastes of our studios and development teams. While the new challenge that we tackle with this title produced a disappointing outcome, we are certain that the gas approach will grow in importance as gaming becomes more service orientated. How we go about creating new experiences by incorporating this trend into our game design is a key question that we will need to answer going forward. Okay, I think that's all we need to fucking hear for that, because the game lost them over $48 million fucking dollars. Okay, let's just start straight off the bat. That more to me says that Square Enix is just gonna try and find any and all which way to fucking force gas upon all of their game franchises. That's what that says to me.
Yeah, because they're trying to do it with their most valuable franchise in Final Fantasy VII.
Well, I mean, they already did, well, no, not really, because they're already doing it with Final Fantasy XIV.
No, but I'm saying they're trying to do it like specifically with Final Fantasy VII with
That
with the
Lone Soldier thing or whatever.
Yeah, with that with Final Fantasy VII First Soldier and Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis.
Can I just point out that Hulk's face right there looks like he's about to pass gas?
Yeah,
Looks a little retarded if you ask me.
Yeah. But yeah, like Pharaoh wanted to bring up this topic. From what I've just read there about all this, I don't see them blaming. I don't see anything that would give you the idea that they're blaming Crystal Dynamic.
There was a quote that was I had to find it, but they were saying that Crystal Dynamics wasn't necessarily equipped to make a games as a service game. Like they saying that they weren't basically qualified to do so. I'd have to find the exact.
Yeah,
quote.
you do, because like that's not a good look, bro. But
Is-
but I will turn around and say, like,
I did post it in the chat earlier this week,
sorry.
so I'd have to.
I don't always look at the chat. I got my own life.
Hey,
Somewhat.
That's the. It's there for you.
Right, I will look. I will look.
Let me
If you
see.
can find it, I will use it. But until then, I wanna curtail this into something else. I'm just very curious. Is this an indication that games as a live service just doesn't work with certain formats of games? Or is this just more of an indication that Square Enix is really shit at it in many respects? Because
I don't think it works with every type of game. I don't think it worked in particular with that game. That was more like story driven. Like it had a lot more RPG elements, and I don't know if like live service RPG that's not like MMO really mixes very well. Like now they just did like DLC and skins and like expansion packs. I think that would have been fine. But like when you're doing stuff where you got like where you're cutting back EXP and things like that, and you gotta buy EXP packs, and I don't think that works for that type of game model.
okay, so Dragon just sent me this. Apparently, this has the quote. He said, "Avengers being a game as a live service did not match the skills of Crystal Dynamics, a historically single-player focused developer." I don't see that as an insult. I actually think,
I don't either.
No, I actually think there is a hint of truth in that. Crystal Dynamics, if you look at their pedigree, are predominantly and have always predominantly been a single-player focused company. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong. Like, I don't think he's throwing them under a bus, because with everything else that was said, it's clear that they understand that the model just did not work and the monetization was not implemented well, and that's clearly on them. They're clear, because like it's not Crystal Dynamics that did the monetization on that. That was Square Enix's choice, and they're the ones who came up with it. So it seems like they're taking the blame for that, while they're saying that they handed this project off to the wrong, and I mean this in a nice way, the wrong developer to be able to implement all of it, because they're predominantly known for good single player games. With
the game that was made though, I can't say that they gave it to the wrong developer. I don't like unless you're saying that Avengers was supposed to be a completely different type of game altogether. Then yeah, I might agree with you.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me explain it this way. If you'd have given Crystal Dynamics the blueprint of Guardians of the Galaxy and told them to make an Avengers game, I think it would have turned out hell of a lot better. It would have turned out like Guardians, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just said in the chat before the show started that if it was made in that fashion, we'd be talking about potential game of the year.
I'm in full agreement with you. But it was Square Enix that gave them. It was Square Enix that gave them this project, and it's them that mishandled it. What I don't like, and this is from fucking Game Ranks as well. So Game Ranks is not exactly fucking top tier in my opinion. What doesn't fucking help is them turning around and saying this. Blame for the failures of Marvel's Avengers has been thrown every direction by fans. Overall, after all, that's what consumers tend to do when a piece of media flops. What we don't usually see is a publisher throwing the developer under the bus. I genuinely do not see this as that. I do not see that.
That's what the article says.
That's what the article says.
I disagree. Wow.
See, I feel like in with the franchise in general, I don't feel like it was like, I don't think Avengers is meant to be a games as a service model. Not when you're trying to tell a story.
I agree, but that,
you would have came up with that.
But not, and in my opinion, it shouldn't have been a fucking multiplayer game. But again, that's a personal...
If it was something like Gotham Knights, that's going to come out, because that's going to be a games as a service model, but it's not story driven or anything like that.
You
know, like
it's not, then maybe.
Yeah, you can. To my knowledge, Gotham Knights isn't really story driven. It's like, all right, Batman's dead. Now run around the city and fight all these bad guys.
I disagree. I severely disagree. The Court of Owls fucking trailer that came out implies that this is going to be very story driven.
It's tough.
Well, that's probably going to flop too as a gas model.
So
yeah,
go ahead. Well, I guess
if you want, I'm just sorry. I just gotta say, go while Kofi's talking, just in the background, watch that. If you haven't, watch the Gotham Knights Court of Owls trailer. They are heavily pushing it as a story game. It's insane. Please.
So, Dante, everything you said, I agree with. Actually, now we might disagree if we go more into the weeds. Because you're basically saying that they were ready to make this single player experience great, and Square Enix was like, yeah, but we want a games as a service game, so you need to break up some of these things that you've made. Some of these assets that you were adding to the game already. No, we need to paywall that kind of stuff, like a rib cage and other ridiculous things. And then I feel like Crystal Dynamics is like, okay, you're paying us, and you.
I feel like Crystal Dynamics made a good game that Square Enix fucked up with how they wanted it to be implemented.
No. By the way,
pieces of the actual game are actually pretty decent.
But really quick. But Dante also said something I agreed with when he said that they were the wrong team. To me, I think you could have some sort of massively multiplayer game that is Avengers, but it's not the Crystal Dynamics team. It's just not them. I don't know.
If another team made the game, it has to be a totally different game. It still has the Avengers name on it.
No.
It's not the story-driven experience that we got.
I disagree. Two things.
I disagree with that.
Here's the thing. Two things. One, I'm not saying that it was meant to be single player, and Square Enix came about and said no, it needs to be multiplayer. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Square Enix brought the project to Crystal Dynamics and gave them guidelines. It needs to be a live service, it needs to be multiplayer, and it needs to have all of this. Now make the game. That's what I feel happened. And Crystal Dynamics, having no experience in doing that kind of game, basically fumbled the ball. And I do not fully blame them, because they were given a project they, in all fairness, were damn near destined to fail. And in the most gracious of lights, we're pretty much up against the firing line at that point, because not only are you being asked to make a game that you have never made before, because you're given these guidelines that it needs to be live service, it needs to be multiplayer, it needs to have this, and this, but it's also about one of the hottest properties currently in the world. They were practically put into a fight. They pretty much were handed a revolver with one bullet in it and said, "Good luck." That's the situation as I see it. Now, I believe if I need to look at Square Enix's who they own to see if anybody could have done it. I don't think it would have been a different game. It would have been the same structurally, it would have been the same game. The story might have been different, the graphics might have been different, the voice acting might have been different, but structurally, as far as monetization and the things that they cut out and the things they added, that would have been the same, because that was already decided on before. I believe, personally, that was already all decided on before it got handed to Crystal Dynamics.
And one more thing I just want to, because I'm pretty sure Farrell wants to respond to that, but I want to piggyback. I feel like some MMOs have great narratives. I think of like Star Wars The Old Republic, or even things like Final Fantasy XIV. Literally, all of my friends in these other groups have tried to over and over again convince me to play Final Fantasy XIV because they think it has one of the arguably best stories in the whole series.
It's free
Oh
up
my
until
God,
Heaven's Sword go features.
that's
Yeah.
Alright, so to me, the reason the games as a service model doesn't work with a Marvel's Avenger type game because you don't feel like a superhero when you're playing in a games as a service type game because you have to, gain this experience or pay for the damn experience in order to like actually feel souped up. Like you don't want to be the Hulk and like punch somebody one time and like their dude doesn't go flying and die when you just fighting
that is
What about the
that's
game?
but here's the thing, that's a gameplay problem. That to me, and I can't believe I'm defending games as a service, but that isn't a gas problem. That is a gameplay problem. Like that's a thing going back to fucking MMOs. Like fuck me. Let's go to the original Final Fantasy VII. I swing at this dude who's not wearing any goddamn fucking armor with my Buster Sword. He ain't dead in one swing. I call bullshit. That is a gameplay thing, not a game as a live service problem.
And there is a DC MMO that was marginally successful on PlayStation 3 and PC.
DC Universe.
Marginally.
Universe on.
And it's still
And
fucking
it lasts-
going,
it
mind
lasted a
you.
while.
Dude, it's still fucking going, I think.
It's still going. Yeah, it's
Is
still going.
it? What?
A Green Lantern expansion, I think, dropped in 2020.
You're kidding.
Nope.
That's great.
No, they're still dropping expansions for it. I've actually spent some money on getting some of those expansions when I was playing
I've
it.
heard it was pretty good for a little while there, so...
Dude, I'm being serious. Like, I'm surprised there isn't a PS5 version. That game's still fucking going, and was one of the first instances of crossplay, because it was crossplay between PC, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4.
And that game specifically is why I think that the games as a service model, all things considered, like comic book properties were born, or games as a service model was born to suit comic book properties.
Here's the thing, though. How DC Legends does, how DC Universe does it is different, though, because it is an MMO. They basically charge you for expansion packs, obviously. They charge you for different kinds of superpowers as well when you create your character. Some of the new ones, kind of like how Star Wars, The Old Republic does it, where you can buy the characters. Oh, you want to play as a Twi'lek? Just buy the Twi'lek pack.
Yeah, that's different than being like the actual superhero. Though.
Yeah, no, but I agree. But the thing is if it isn't like Hulk Total fucking Destruction, where I literally have two fucking cars as fists and can send a dude into orbit, that isn't a game as a live service problem. That is a gameplay problem that just happens to have a live service over it that's then starched by fucking XP boosts.
And I think part of the challenge with Avengers is like, if you just take it as a comic book property, then you can sort of power balance them however you want them to be. Like, because Hulk isn't always the strongest there is. Like, fairly recently in the past couple of years, Hawkeye had flat out killed the Hulk, or Bruce Banner, if you will. And so, like, they're in and that was one of the DLCs featuring Perfect Line with Hawkeye and the Maestro, who's just Old Man Hulk. But, comics open up a wide variety. Like, every couple of years, they'll pull out X person kills the Marvel Universe, and, like, it's always sort of kind of absurd. Yeah, it's like Deadpool, but, like, Deadpool really can't kill the Hulk objectively, but that's the problem. Like, we shouldn't necessarily look at these characters as this one thing, because they always change and evolve depending on who's writing them, what the story is, and what's happening. So I think it's better to treat them as like the Smash Bros perspective, where it's like, these are toys in a chest. And unfortunately, the Avengers game, I think, brought the movie aspect to it, because they look kind of sort of like their movie counterparts.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, we know exactly what these guys, they picked a universe for us. And it was like, okay, it's a cinematic universe. We know where all these people stand up. Hulk should be running through most of these things. Why is he still like here?
Yeah, I do somewhat agree with that, but in my opinion, Oh, sorry. From where I stand with that, I would turn around and say that you could have easily gassed this game. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say, what fucking idiot came up with that acronym? As
Nobody
games
wants
as
to play
alive.
games as a service all the time.
Yeah, fucking gas. What was it gonna say? What's it gonna say? This is a gas game on the front of games now that have live services models. Is that what it's gonna say? This game is gassed. Anyway,
No, they cheat and just do interact. What's it? Purchases, in-game purchases. There you go.
maybe. But you could have easily
Still
done
banned on
that.
as is. I don't think that game is any different unless they approached it differently. But the game is-
You could have absolutely, like, as far as like a gameplay perspective, like if they really wanted to monetize that game, right? They could have easily gotten rid of the whole fucking RPG aspect. Make it's still mission based the way it is. It can still be goddamn multiplayer. Alright, you can have tiers of enemies. Okay? You can have like the guys who are beefed up to fight the Hulk and take more than one hit. Sure, because that's believable. You can create giant robots to do that, for fuck's sake. They even did that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which they're clearly fucking aping off of. I mean, does anybody remember Veronica? Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. He didn't beat Veronica in one hit, so you can have those types of enemies that Hulk has to deal with exclusively. But then he can also go over and just fucking launch a dude right into orbit like he did to Ultron. You can have that, and then you can sell your monetization on, oh, do you want to play as Red Hulk? Oh, do you want Hawkeye's classic outfit? Do you want to look like classic Cap? Like, you could sell costumes for that. And then you can sell your expansions as well and have daily challenges. Okay, here's the arena. Go into the arena and fight 30 fucking enemies. Or destroy 10 Hulk bashers. I'll just call them Hulk bashers. Enemies that can actually go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, or big enough that they can take one more hit from him. And, like, hit and destroy, like, 30 of these in one session. It's like, then you add a variety, then you add strategy to the game when you say, oh, you got Hawkeye, you can take out dudes at long range who are sniping at us and are a potential threat. Oh, your Cap, you can throw your shield and take out a group of enemies because it bounces off their heads, giving them severe goddamn concussions. Oh, there's a tank coming. Hulk's the only one who can handle it, so Hulk, smash. Like, you could easily do that kind of game with the format that they wanted and just sell costumes. Because there's a huge variety.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No. And because you've got it all. But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm getting at. It isn't a live service problem. It was a gameplay problem with Avengers, with the fact that you just didn't feel empowered as these superheroes. Like,
I don't think that's on the developer. I think that's on
that is
the publisher micromanaging how they made that game.
That is, in my opinion, that is absolutely on Square Enix. Not Square Enix. Crystal Dynamic. Crystal Dynamic. That is entirely on them, because they could have fitted in a live service model in that way that I just described and still make people feel empowered.
But I don't think that Square Enix... My thought would be Square Enix did not come and say, make this game, just put live service in it. We don't care. Because the way that game is set up is very similar to games like The Division and games like Destiny and games like what Halo might be becoming, which tells me that they were paying attention to, like, who's the big dogs on campus.
Yeah, they were told to make the game that way.
Yeah, and how do we ape them? And that's the problem. They just did it bad. The Division might be the closest thing to that, because The Division, just like your superhero game, is kind of silly that I'm unloading bullets into these regular real life people and they're still getting back up.
And that will forever be a fucking problem to me, especially when you put the name Tom fucking Clancy.
But The Division is a pretty solid game. For all of that, like, move away from the realistic part of it, it's a pretty solid game.
It's a solid game. Here's the thing, and here's the biggest fucking caveat with this game, and this is where fucking Square Enix takes all the fucking blame for me, and where Crystal Dynamics also take a bit of the blame. The Division sells itself on being a multiplayer game. The Avengers sold itself on being a single-player experience. That game is not a single-player experience. You will have a miserable fucking time playing that game single-player.
That's why I think, and I agree with Pharaoh on that, like, what's Square Enix doing? Because they clearly had a game in mind, and then seem to have let either Crystal Dynamics do whatever they want, or they told you need to fit into this box, and they did the Crystal Dynamics did the best they could.
And if it is option one, I want Jubei to go next actually, because he's finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, Wild Jubei, give him a round of applause. He's finally here. If it is option one, then Square Enix is absolutely right when turning around saying that they gave it to the wrong developer, who is predominantly known for single player games. Jubei, go ahead.
Okay.
I don't fucking care. Moving on.
If Square Enix knew that they were predominantly a single player studio, why the fuck did they give it to them then? Like, I still have to put that on them. They still greenlit everything they greenlit everything that went into that game. It is on them. The onus was on them to tell them, hey, this isn't right. You need to go back and do such and such and such and such. They thought that they had it. And now, after the fact, they can go back and say whatever the fuck they want and try to and try to say, "Oh, we picked the wrong team." You knew you picked the wrong team from the fucking beginning.
Here's my counterpoint
if that's the case.
Here would be my counterpoint to that. God, you guys have fucking talked big about this before. I feel like it would be hard that they shouldn't experiment, because I don't blame Crystal Dynamic in a wide sense for at least trying something different. I mean, for fuck's sake, let's look at who is it that's making Fable? That's Playground Games, right?
Yep.
Playground Games. What are they predominantly known for?
Racing games.
Vehicles.
Exactly. But they're making the
but a lot of the people making that game were previously at Lineman.
Exactly. But that's my point. A studio predominantly known and has always done the Forza games is now making the next Fable game. I have no issue in companies trying to diverge out and try new things. That's never got my goddamn issue. Maybe that was Square Enix's issue. Maybe they thought, or maybe they wanted Crystal Dynamics to broaden their catalog of games that they can make. Clearly, it just didn't work out.
I would kind of disagree with Fable, because it's a team that made Fable making Fable again. I mean, a lot of people that worked on the old Fable games before they forced games as a service on Fable are the ones that are making the new. All right, Fable
then let me throw another example, and this one's going to touch close to Kofi's heart. What about Guerrilla Games? Like, there's another example. They were predominantly known for first-person shooters, and that's all they'd fucking done. Then they did Horizon Zero Dawn. Fuck what FC thinks. I hope he hears this. Fuck what you think about Horizon.
Right. Here's even the difference in that situation is that Guerrilla Games wanted to make that game.
Yeah, maybe. Here's the thing. Yeah, we don't know about the behind the scenes. Maybe Crystal Dynamic wanted to make this game.
Right, but
I doubt they wanted to make games of service. They wanted to make Avengers.
The other thing is,
with Farrell on that.
If they wanted to make if they were dead set on games as a service, then Guardians of the Galaxy be games as a service as well.
That's true. The other thing is, like, you brought up, like, fucking Horizon. The thing is, Sony being technically the publisher of that game, that's their in-house studio, they already had a blueprint on how to make an openish world fucking adventure game. They just gave it to a studio. They already knew how to make it. It's not. But the thing is, Square Enix does not know how to fucking do a games as a service game. So why the fuck would we trust them to pick a dev to do this?
But again,
that's why you can't even use the Fable analogy. Microsoft has made successful Fables. Like, they can literally tell Playground how to do that because they've done it.
I want to.
Honestly, Square should have gave that game, if they wanted a games service model, they should have gave it to an MMO team.
Exactly.
Well, you can't give it to the Final Fantasy guys.
They have an MMO team.
But no, you can't, because those
MMO teams in the world.
Well, yeah, I was about to say they can't necessarily give it to the guys, the studio behind Final Fantasy 14, because they're busy Well, Yoshi P
You can
is
hire the league.
Yeah,
you
Yoshi
can move,
God.
you can move a guy off.
Yeah, the goat.
Vote him.
Yeah, no, that's funny. I was just talking to my friend Yuri, who's a big Final Fantasy XIV fan. Apparently, that dude is so loved. You will never ever find a person saying anything bad about Yoshi P.
So true.
No, people love Yoshi P, dog. And like,
Yeah, but the point is, you can find someone on that MMO team, promote them to a lead, and say, "Hey, I want you to, attack
Actually,
this game's service model."
Yeah.
You
agree with that.
you technically
You don't have to take the whole team, but you can take somebody, make them a lead, and be like, "I need you to find some people. We want to make a games as a service game with this new license that we purchased for Avengers."
As weird as this is about to sound, I would agree with that if I hadn't heard the stories about how fucking tight that team is and the fact that I believe one of the developers for that had cancer and was in hospital, and they actually set it up to where he could still work from his office from his hospital bed. And from what I heard,
just
Yoshi
because
P.
Japanese people, they don't believe in not working. That's all that is.
No, I'm just saying it's just how tight that team is from what I heard. But I mean, like I said, Final Fantasy XIV, I would say, is definitely the most successful games as a live service. I'm just currently going through their catalog, so I'm curious if they have done any other live
MMOs
service games. No, not MMO specifically, but
gotta be some mobile games that fit underneath that criteria that they've put out.
I mean, does Melody of Memory count? It was a Kingdom Hearts game that
Brave Invictus, Final Fantasy Brave Invictus is a.
I would
game.
guess the budget for those games is so much safer.
And that's also a gacha game, so it's a different energy.
It's like throw like 30 devs, go throw some colors on the screen.
Yeah, you put Ariana Grande in it, and then like you're good. And I would like to once again just defend at least the story of the Avengers game.
Please
I don't think it was a bad story.
It's a good game. My son makes me play it.
It's not
a good game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Future Imperfect, which I think was the first DLC or maybe the second one, which was kind of cool because it was the cooler Hawkeye from the more modern ones. Kamala's great. It's just that I think once again, like most big properties, they got stuck on the idea of we got to make sure we put in the Avengers because those are our money makers. When it's like, no, not really. In the same way, I mean, doesn't happen now, but to me, it would be the same thing as if Knights of the Old Republic came out today and it was new. And they're like, well, we gotta focus on Rey and that team. It's like, no, just use the world and do something different with it. People didn't know Kamala, so it's a good person to put in, but you focused on the breakdown of the Avengers team, which we've already seen in movie version. So we focus too much on them and less on the pseudo, who is the main character of this story. Kamala, a girl who meets the Avengers and helps them get back together.
Yeah.
Like,
Star Wars is perfect for games as a service because the universe is the star, not the actual.
Which is hilarious considering I think it's the one fucking like long going franchise out there that actually has probably, I think, off the top of my head, I think only 2 true games as a live service, which is the old Republic and Battlefield 2. Don't know if Battlefield 1 had it.
The Old Republic's, I think, part of its claim to fame is the fact that it was nothing to do with anyone we knew from Star Wars.
Nope.
Which is
that's how it should be.
Okay, no,
that's how it should be.
Telling you,
like that. I think that's what made the movies fail. Like they would not let the Skywalkers go.
There are a lot of fucking reasons that series.
The biggest thing with that series is that in the same way that I have a problem with the new Ghostbusters series.
Here's the thing, I
don't think it has anything to do with Skywalker.
Absolutely not.
The last 3 episodes was just trash.
But they're only focused on the same people we know. They're not letting any. You had to play within a certain box.
Yeah,
you couldn't go outside of that box.
I disagree for the simple reason the extended universe.
To stay in a certain box.
Yeah, the extended
with the
universe.
last 3 episodes because they were just like what is it? Episode 7 was an exact copy of episode 4. Like nobody made them do that.
No, but I feel like
that was trash.
Yeah, I like The Force Awakens. That's the one I will turn around and say I can sit down and actually enjoy. Because it did have a lot of good merits, despite the fact that it was just A New Hope. but it felt like it was clearly trying to use the same idea to launch pad off to something else, and then Rian Johnson fucked it all up with The Last Jedi, and then God, what the fuck knows what the fuck Rise of Skywalkers was. But no, as far as like them going back to the Skywalkers, I do disagree, because the Legends universe proved that the Skywalkers are still a valuable asset to the mythos in general, because of how well Skywalker stories did in the Legends universe. I mean, for God's sake, we went so far down that we were talking about Luke Skywalker's goddamn son as well, who last time I checked was a Grey Jedi, and that was another thing that the Star Wars thing failed, was they absolutely refused to embrace outside ideas that were already out there. Like, everybody was wanting the Grey Jedis to show up, because the Grey Jedis were basically what Qui-Gon Jinn was. He followed the teachings of the Jedi, but didn't follow it to a T. He used it more as a guideline and had his own opinions. But they never did that. They basically uncanonized everything, fucked up everything, and then fucked up the series in general. But I do agree, like, maybe it shouldn't have been an Avengers game. Maybe like a Marvel's Ensemble or a Marvel's Assemble kind of game, where it has a lot of different characters, like from different facets, like some characters you might not know, or some characters you do know.
I mean, they've already done it multiple times successfully with the Ultimate Alliance series and the Lego series. Like, Marvel Lego Superheroes here's like every Marvel superhero, go play with them. And the same thing happens with Ultimate Alliance, which has a pretty solid story to it. Whatever they did with this Avengers game, they just did it badly. It's not even that it could exist. The games already exist. Ultimate Alliance is fantastic. They just did it bad.
Mm-hmm. And I just like to also
there was only like 6.
Yeah. I'd just like to point out, just for anybody wondering, or is gonna say it, no, Spider-Man would not have sold the game, and would not have made it any goddamn better. So please, people, get that out of your goddamn heads.
Especially, I think people who say that aren't paying attention to what the Avengers were doing, because the only way I could conceive of a Spider-Man storyline DLC impacting the game in any major ways, if you do something like Spider-Verse, which feels off the table, maybe One More Day,
Secret
or
War.
maybe Secret War feels like something they might want to build up to.
No, you could easily do a side thing with Secret War, because like the whole premise of the Avengers is they broke up, and basically superheroes were being regulated and trying to be cured. Then you have Spider-Man, who, out of all of the Avengers, was the only one to actually keep his identity as Peter Parker a secret. He could have been outed during the events of all of that, and then you got a side story with him where he's having to deal with people who know who he is, and a lot of people trying to go after his family, which is what happened in Secret War. Is someone tried to assassinate Aunt May.
Oh yes, my I was saying is, at least as far as they've shown so far, the Avengers DLCs run in line with the timeline. So, for example, Future Imperfect is a future Hawkeye coming back to the past.
Was it Civil War? You sure it wasn't Secret War? Oh, it might have been Civil War. It might have been Civil War 2. I'm not too sure.
Civil War is the Registration Act.
Well, it was. Yes, you are absolutely right, because he sided with Tony on that one. You are absolutely right. Yeah. It was.
Secret Wars is where the Venom suit comes from.
Right. Okay. Sorry, my apologies.
But I was saying, like, say for some level of like dimension hopping, you could do. I think there's a Land of the Spiders comic where everybody gets like Spider-Man powers, so you could theoretically do that. It's just how he's going to fit into that world, and I don't think him by himself would add anything.
Yeah,
like, you're going to give me New York City, so that's not an interesting place to be in. Where like we just got Future World, we're getting Wakanda. All these other places, and you're going to give me New York City. Like, who cares?
Yeah, we already had that.
And then, I think Spider-Man hurt the game more than anything. Just basically, not because he was in the game, but how they messaged it to the people who were upset about it.
I think it was like, bad. It was a lot of bad press. But
I don't think it hurt the game. I don't think it hurt the game to like 48 million loss hurt the game.
Might have been 38 million.
Nah, it wouldn't have been. No,
Yeah.
there's no way Spider-Man would have saved that much. Nah, the word was already out that the game was basically a fucking money sink trash.
I mean, it wasn't just the Xbox community that was mad at it. The PC community was mad about Spider-Man not being there as well. So I mean, like, it's hard to and it was supposed to release early. So I mean, I think that Spider-Man's been done for a long time, but because of the bad press, they just haven't released it. They're kind of waiting until it's forgotten about, and then like, oh yeah, here's Spider-Man now.
No, because
Also,
at that point,
I
people have
believe-
just forgotten about the fucking game.
Yeah, I believe they wanted to just release Spider-Man the character, and then like now we're in this position like, well, we just can't release a character. He won't do anything to save us at all. So now they're probably trying to build something around him.
But Spider-Man was supposed to come early in the game.
You're right.
launch.
He was supposed to be like the very first thing. The very first news
yeah,
that
it
we
was
got
supposed to be
was like,
like,
here's
yeah,
Spider-Man.
right.
And
Yeah,
I don't think
so-
he was supposed to be a mission. I think he was just Spider-Man.
If they did Hawkeye and Black Panther, and they did all these other characters by now, something tells me that Spider-Man's been done for a while, but that backlash has been the reason that it hasn't, we haven't seen it.
Maybe.
So how long do we think this game is going to last?
It's already
They
dead!
thought it was going to last 10 years.
Well, the rumor is that Spider-Man is supposed to be here for the holiday.
As in, like, when
Oh.
is the servers getting shut down?
I think there is no service. I think it's a peer-to-peer thing.
Oh, I don't know that. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think this game gets shut down anytime soon.
No,
I
it
think-
isn't. No.
I think
They're going to try.
they're gonna retry. They're gonna try to recoup that cash and break even.
Could it make a
They are.
comeback a la Warframe?
No! No!
Warframe.
Warframe.
You know how you come out of this and you break even. You get rid of all that gas stuff and you just sell the skins and the DLC.
Here's the thing.
You cut your losses, and you just skins and DLC. Get rid of all the gas stuff. Get rid of all the EXP packs. Stop limiting, how you get EXP, because the EXP was fine at first. Like, people didn't have a problem with that. The next thing you know, started getting limited. They're like, oh, we're
Yeah,
not
they
limited.
limited
Yeah. Here's the thing
Oh.
with Warframe. Warframe was already a decent success when it came out. Warframe only got more popular when they started legitimately redeveloping the game from the ground up and releasing like new fucking versions of the game over the years. Like
It wasn't super popular,
if anything,
Avengers do that?
no, absolutely no, because they need to fundamentally change. They need to, because like here's the thing. What Warframe did was it added like whole worlds, added whole new missions, added new forms of combat, literally did all of that. Games as a live service cannot and will not fucking do that. Games as a live service are stuck in their ways and will remain what they are while just adding cosmetics and shit on top of it. That's all that they are. They will never change the fundamentals and foundations of the game that they are. One of the reasons why is because they're not MMOs. They will not do what Warframe did. They will not do what Final Fantasy XIV did.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that.
Because like it's not like 2 years from now you boot up Avengers, it's suddenly got a goddamn hub world with like street vendors and stuff like that, like it did with Warframe. It's just not going to do that. It's just going to be the same game where they add more missions and stuff on top of it for paid content while charging you extra for skins and shit like that. Like it's going to remain the same game, just with now you can play as Black Panther through this mission with the same kind of combat and the same kinds of enemies, just reskinned as different enemies and shit. That's what live service games do. Just look at games as a live service. Basically, the evolutionary peak, in my opinion, of games as a live service is effectively fucking Call of Duty. It's the same fucking thing. They put it out for a year, and then the next Call of Duty comes out, they just stop adding shit for it and move on to the next one. Games as a live service, in my opinion, are a fucking evolutionary dead end. They're games as a live service are literally doing what MMOs have done for the past 20 goddamn years and doing it on a much smaller scale at a higher price tag. There you go. That's what games as a live service is. Did Discord fail?
No, we're here.
No, okay,
just everybody was silent. I didn't hear anybody arguing.
We just let your soliloquy rock off. That's all.
Damn, I'm gonna walk off into the sunset. Now, speaking of an evolutionary dead end, my god, how many fucking Forza games can there be? But apparently this Forza game is pretty goddamn good. So, has anybody played the new Forza Horizon 5?
I'm pretty sure me and Jubei have.
Okay, then you guys are gonna be leading the charge on this one. Jubei, you go first because you ain't talked enough.
Oof. Yeah. I'm actually enjoying it a lot more than I enjoyed 4. I haven't really been able to put it down outside of today, me having business shit to do. But played it all weekend. Streamed it for a couple hours. It's a whole lot of fun. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's actually one of the few games I think looks better in some instances than its E3 reveal.
Are you playing it on performance or
no, that 30 frames mode is actually really fucking good. And that is the first time I've ever been able to say that.
I'm playing it on performance right now.
It hurts me that you say that, Jubei. It hurts.
I understand it hurts, but I mean, the fact that I'm the only thing I'm sacrificing is a bit of responsiveness that I get from 60, but the image quality and everything else that goes into that is well worth that trade-off.
I'm disappointed.
That's arcade.
I'm totally fine with it, and because it's not like a sim racer, I don't need perfect inputs because I just don't. It's not that kind of game.
Yeah, and he's not that kind of driver either. He's not that good.
Oof. Okay, we'll see.
So
you can race me though. You can get this shit on PC. We can crossplay.
I know I can. I've actually been tempted to get it, but
you can run it at your 120 frames.
I can't afford it. I'm 400 fucking pounds in the hole, dude.
You get yourself a Microsoft Edge browser, and you just start searching for shit. Microsoft gives you points. And next thing you know, you get Game Pass for free.
I use Microsoft Edge. That's the only fucking browser I use because Chrome is a fucking ram hog.
I mean Bing. You gotta use Bing. You gotta.
Oh, fuck using Bing! Are you kidding me? Get fucked! No, absolutely not.
You're
hilarious. You gotta use it for 5 minutes, like I do. I don't legitimately search for anything on.
I gotta use it for 5 minutes a month. That's okay.
I use it for 5 minutes a day. Like I just go on there and I type in the letter A, and then it gives me a bunch of things I can click on. And I get points for everything I click on.
I would willingly do shots of Drano than touch Bing. Thank you very much, Jubei. Please continue.
Hold
on, Pharaoh, walk me through. Oh, never mind. I see it right here. Join and claim Microsoft rewards. All right, Bing. Cool. Actually, I had a question, a game-related question. So, because I've never played Forza ever in my life. So it's an arcade racer.
Yep.
Basically.
So I guess the strongest evolution of what Need for Speed was.
Yeah, I mean the fact that you can just go off road, like you can fuck your car up. It doesn't matter.
It's an arcade racer with sim elements.
Yeah,
but it doesn't try to convince you. It doesn't try to convince you that it's a sim. Like you can tune your vehicle. You can put new equipment in it, like just like you could on a Forza Motorsport.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like closed circuit simulation racing.
Right. So it's what is it? Is it Heat, the most recent Need for Speed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does Forza have a story?
Yes.
Loosest interpretation of the story.
It's a loose story. You are a character, and basically, like your thing is to gain rep. It's not a story. Whereas like there's a beginning, middle, end.
Mm.
But basically, you're like a traveling circuit racer, and you like each horizon is where you travel to.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay, because
your whole goal is to make the festival as exciting as possible, and you do that through completing races and challenges and things like that, which earns you rep. You got you got more imaginary people talking about you, looking at you, kind of thing. So
okay, without any.
It's like you make the story basically.
Yep.
Yeah, which is cool because Need for Speed has sort of those cringy cutscenes, and it's kind of
Yeah, there's still cringy cutscenes. There is still cringy cutscenes. So.
This looks like a better version of that. That's what I was just curious about.
Yeah, I've got gameplay going, obviously. So
yeah.
Like I said, from what I played, it's an absolute blast. I have no problems with it. I haven't had any technical issues outside of not getting all my rewards for playing the previous Forzas, which they said they're working on.
You have to download Forza Hub.
No, I did. I did get Forza Hub, and I got the money for it, but I didn't get the cars for playing Motorsport 5.
Oh, okay.
That's still missing. So
I think I played 3 and 4. I don't think I played the original Forza Horizon or Forza.
I've played all the Horizons, and
I think I played
Motorsport 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah, I played Motorsport 5, 6, and 7, but I don't think I played all the Horizons. Right, I don't think I have.
Farrell, give us your impression then. What do you think of the game?
I think as far as like it reviewing well, I think a big part of it reviewing well is how the game actually started. Like the way that the game starts is actually quite fantastic. It drops you into like every like key environment that you can be in Mexico. It's like I think it starts you off like does it start you off in like these cold mountains?
Yeah, you start off in the volcano, and then it drops you into the jungle, and then it drops you into like a desert sandstorm, and then it just drops you just straight out, just out and about.
And then you're in the and then next thing you know, you go through all these different environments, and then next thing you know, you coast into the Horizon Festival, and then next thing you know, like they immediately hit you like with all these cool little fun activities that you can do, and
then before you know it, you're muling coke for the fucking cartel.
I will. And the best part about it is I can't speak, for the base game experience, but when you get the premium pack, the best thing about the game is that they immediately hit you up with a bunch of cars. Yeah, so it's not like you don't have to go through necessarily earning cars per se. You already got a base amount of cars. You already got a Lamborghini, you already got a McLaren, you already got a Ford Bronco. And it's a good range of vehicles. It's not like a bunch of BS where like I really have to work hard before I can get a supercar or before I can get this pickup truck or whatever. Yeah. You already got a good base. Like even if you hadn't played any of the other Forzas where you get rewarded with those cars, like you still start off with a good base of vehicles, which is something that I really like. I like the environments. I like how they place like EXP boards and things in like different areas that you have to kind of really think like, how am I going to get it and what vehicle am I going to use to get that like EXP board? Because there's like an EXP board that was like on a roof.
Yeah, and you're like, how the fuck do you get that?
Yeah, so I had to get the Bronco, and I had to like figure out what angle I was gonna drive up this mountain so I could fly up and land on this roof. So I did get one of them. It was like a 5,000 EXP pack.
Yeah, all the ones on roofs are 5K, I believe.
Yeah,
if it's out of the way, it's like 5K.
But like, there's one that's on a roof, and there's like nowhere for me to jump. It's like nothing but flat ground around it. So I'm like, maybe.
And it's flat ground and trees, and there's no hop. And you're just
there is one that's like that, and I believe that one is you're gonna need like a motorcycle or something for that.
So you think motorcycles is going to be going in?
Well, you race motorcycles in the beginning of the game, like in the first like 5 minutes of the game, where you're going through all the environments. So I'm assuming that if you race motorcycles, there's a good chance you'll be able to get a motorcycle.
Nice.
Maybe. I also do like the progression in this game is pretty clear. It wasn't really clear in Horizon.
They weren't really motorcycles; they were dirt bikes.
Yeah, they were dirt bikes. I'm just happy to know.
You don't really got licensed dirt bikes. No one knows the damn brands of dirt bikes unless you're like, a dirt bike enthusiast.
Yeah, maybe, but
Yeah.
there's still licensing and shit, which we might, as far as licensing, we might get into.
Like you'll have some fucking pony be like, oh shit, they didn't license a fucking this brand of dirt bike.
Okay, Omar is not here to defend his tribe. Only Kofi is, and we know Kofi is willing to roll over and lie on his back to get a belly rub, just to and let it pass. Do not be insulting PlayStation when the tribal chief is not here.
Hey,
I know, but I do actually want to lead this in. Right, so Forza has been because I'm seeing a lot of people, Pharaoh included, like bigging up the numbers on Forza Horizon. But from what I've seen, Forzas tend to do well in numbers regardless, as far as like critical and viewer scores. And you said that, and you specifically turned around and brought up the idea that like this is a sign of change, of like Xbox starting to really come into its own. But here's the thing: do the rest of you agree, or because it's such an ongoing Xbox exclusive ongoing franchise that has always done well, do you see this as just more of the same, or do you actually see this as a genuine change to Xbox being more recognized for doing quality games?
I'll go first on that.
Go ahead.
So as somebody who Pharaoh knows as well, I'm a bit of a playground hater for illogical reasons.
Okay, I want to hear these illogical reasons. So it
has everything to do with Project Gotham Racing. Nothing. To do
everything to do with
playground games.
Literally, yeah. So they're the closed circuit arcade / sim franchise that was second party and died many years ago. Really is the franchise I felt was more to my tastes. Okay, but thanks to Jubei, I did try the Forza Horizon 4 beta. And it was right when I finished my PC. So I had, my ultra wide playing 100 frames per second. And it was really great. And I don't really have anything negative to say after a great experience like that. Not from a technical perspective. It also has somebody who loves the sim scene and also loves some other more arcadey things like Burnout. I have a great respect for them. But to answer your question, Dante, Playground Games' consistent 90 critic Metascore or close to 90 critic Metascore is not an example of why Xbox has changed. It's other things. It's things like studios that they have now acquired are creating games, and the general brand, the general ecosystem now has high-rated games. It's always been the same.
Let me elaborate. People are using Forza's high number as an example of saying, see, Xbox can put out 90 or 80 Metacritic score games, but my thing is Forza has always been that, but people are using it as an example. So is it fair to use that as an example for current Xbox when they've always been doing this? Because
So like
we've still got to see games that are like born and bred. In my opinion, I feel like that answer, and I think I said this about Psychonauts. I said that game wasn't born and bred under Microsoft's banner. So I take that score with a grain of salt as far as like the direction Microsoft is going. I would see that more as like maybe Starfield or whatever the next game Double Fine is working on, or Perfect Dark. Like all those are born, bred, raised into adulthood under Microsoft. They didn't start elsewhere and then were adopted by Microsoft.
No. So I completely agree with what you're saying, and that's why I said them having 3 consistent 90 Metacritic games for almost half a decade is not a healthy example of change in Microsoft. Their ecosystem has always had value there for that specific game from that specific dev. So to your point, the area that we're looking at is internal dev studios or IPs that started since all these acquisitions that have been made great and somehow have changed our perception of where Xbox is today. And you're right. I mean, something like Psychonauts having been in development or funded, GoFunded, whatever, could be counted as against. Now, I'll say this. From a bird's eye view, the ecosystem in general that's a pretty positive change, right? You got your flight sim, you got your, this racing game, you got Psychonauts, and then you could, reach across the aisle and. Wasteland 3 is pretty good.
Yeah.
I actually own Wasteland 3, and I've played Wasteland 3, and I like Wasteland 3.
Got Age of Empires.
Okay.
But Age of... No. Okay. What?
Anyway, let me finish.
Let the man finish. All right, let Kofi finish.
Let me finish.
Let the Voltron talk.
So, that area being overall, from a casual point of view, better, to me, I think deserves compliments. If we start getting into the weeds, there are a lot of things that we're waiting to be impressed by. Fable, Avowed, obviously the sequel to Hellblade.
Hellblade.
So that's really what's going to make, I think, some of the hardcore people impressed, and maybe, I don't know, these Game Pass numbers will explode, or what have you, or maybe people will start buying these games.
Hellblade 2 is one that I've got a keen eye on, because Hellblade 1 was done before their acquisition, but now I want to see, because here's the thing, for me, just I want to get my thoughts on this, because I want to make Jubei and fucking Pharaoh wait, so Zero's going after me. For me, I've been very consistent on saying I need to see something that was conceived, born, raised, and matured under Microsoft, as a new IP, or something that they owned, or something that they now own, like maybe the next Elder Scrolls, if they can actually get Bethesda on the right fucking track. Is the next Doom game gonna be that damn good as well? If they are doing one, like Avowed is a good one. Perfect Dark is the one that all eyes are on. But I feel like the Eye of Sauron needs to be like all over the fucking place with Microsoft at this point, with how much they've got. Like it's games like that. Like we are now at the starting line, because before we were just warming up for the race. Now we're at the starting line. when we get those games and they come out as 80s and 90s, then not only will we know that Microsoft has winners, but we'll also know that Microsoft knows how to manage this many studios as well. Like they know how to handle these studios, which is one of the things I'm more curious about, is how is Microsoft's handling on these studios, whether it's really direct or if it's hands off and let them work. I want to see what their approach is to having this many studios, which I think is just as important as the games that these studios produce, if that makes sense. Zero, what do you think?
As far as the question, I got to go back to sort of the great poet, Dominic Toretto. It doesn't really matter whether you win by an inch or a mile, right? So, like, as in this case, sure, the last Playground games have all scored 90. That's still great, and it might not necessarily show that Microsoft is changing, but it's also actively not hurting them. And so I think that's also it's a bonus, right? Like what you can't say is Microsoft has no good games. So you have to then shift your argument to, okay, we want to see Microsoft make more good games, instead of where it was that time, like Microsoft has no games, and the games that you have are like meh at best. So now that argument's kind of dead in the water. So now everybody's got to shift and start talking about, okay,
right now, I think Zero's on point.
Yeah, I do agree. I've never turned around. I've not said, well, since all of this happened, and since I think near the end of the Xbox One's life cycle, I never did turn around and say Xbox didn't have any games. I just said that Xbox didn't have any games near the beginning and end of their life cycle, because I mean, again, my Xbox One catalog is literally 2 fucking games. And that's Halo 5 Guardians, which still confuses me why it's not on PC. And I only say that because you're literally putting all but one of them on PC now. And Rare Replay, which, for obvious reasons, because Rare Replay is rare and I love them. But right now I'm starting to see, but now they've switched their mindset to selling games on PC as well. So now my shift has not been to, okay, what games are going to entice me from Microsoft is, okay, what's Microsoft gonna give me now? Because I'm already part of that ecosystem, seeing as they've expanded that ecosystem into the PC realm as well.
Yeah, so my thought is that it what we know now is that Xbox has a sort of solid foundation.
Yeah.
With things like Forza and Gears, Halo, Forza, Gears. Like that's now their foundation, but now it seems though we can build from that. I'm not I'm waiting just because like they've got 23 something studios. I'm waiting to see what the heck you do with all these studios.
Right.
But I'm not waiting in the sense of like, all right, now Microsoft is doing well. Like they're doing well now. You know, they bought their way in, and so be it. Like that's fine. If you got the money, go do that. So like, you know, you can still count things like Deathloop, I guess. Like, you know, it's owned, but it's in a weird space. But like, it's a Microsoft company now. So be it. Move on from there. So I expect things to go forward and be better than where we are, or at least start with a foundation that we are and continue to go up. Obviously, there'll be some dips. While I think a lot of people enjoyed it, Grounded seemed to kind of come and go. Or just
Grounded's got crazy adverts.
Grounded hasn't officially launched yet.
And it's not. And this new update for Grounded is actually.
Grounded technically hasn't officially launched yet.
That's bad.
I mean, that's not a recommendation for me considering the shit that Fortnite.
Bug snacks.
Yeah.
But you know.
I mean, Bug Snacks is more of a passion project.
I mean, with that motherfucker talking about it, like he's not one to talk about Grounded. Yeah, Bug Snacks. No said.
Yeah. I said Grounded is more of a passion project. They gave people early access to it, so like you can kind of guide us in how we should make this game type thing.
How much does Grounded cost?
I liked Grounded. I just can't really play it. Too many spiders.
Grounded is Grounded is Sea of Thieves on land, like basically.
Yeah, it's Honey I Shrunk the Kids. It's awesome.
That's what I would compare it to. Like Sea of Thieves was kind of this thing where it's like we release it to you early. It's not really done, but you guys are gonna play it, and y'all are gonna help us make it good. Right. That's what Grounded is.
All right, Zero. Finish thoughts, unless you finished your thoughts.
Yeah, you know, my last thing is like I think Microsoft's in a great position. I'm look forward to see what they're going to do next. I don't think we should I think we know what's going to happen. Every loss that they get is going to apparently be like the biggest loss ever, whereas like the wins might be outshined. So like let's just pay attention to their wins because they got a couple of them right now, and they're sitting in a great position to continue to get more.
I will say I would add at this point, considering the fucking amounts of them, I would add Forza to that foundation of Gears and Halo as well.
He said Halo, Gears, Forza.
Did he? I didn't hear him say Forza. I just heard him say Gears and Halo. My apologies. I will say they need a fucking fighting game. They really need to do something with Killer Instinct.
They just don't have the dev team.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I cannot believe I'm about to fucking endorse this. Fucking buy what the fuck? Who was it? Jube, you would know who made the Killer Instinct game. It was Double Helix. Yeah, buy Double Helix. They did amazing with fucking Killer Instinct.
What is Double Helix even doing right now? Because I'm sure they would have done it.
They are looking for the studio that they want to buy to do it. I mean, maybe Double Helix doesn't want to be bought, you know.
Yeah.
I don't. Bitch, you've been turning around and saying buy Square, and yet that Square don't want to be bought.
I didn't say buy Square. I said Square is a target for them. It's just a matter of if Square wants to sell.
In my opinion, they just need a fighting game. They need a fighting game series. They have one. They just need to do something.
You forget Iron Galaxy also.
That is very true. They do have Iron Galaxy as well. But my point is, you're a fighting game guy. You've got to admit, Xbox needs to commit resources into like building up a good 1 or 2 fighting game franchises because they
do.
Well,
They do,
the
but
thing
but
is-
the other thing is fighting. In
That
the
community
long
is
run,
really hard to get into.
Exactly that's one, and it's so niche. They're gonna look at it like, how much money are we gonna make off of this?
The thing is, Phil wants it.
Yeah.
Phil wants
He
it.
definitely wants
You
it,
get
but
on
like, you
it-
also got to
He
look at
wants
the
it.
competition.
It's just a
in that
matter of
space.
find it. I believe that once he finds the studio to do it, it'll happen.
All right.
But he has to-
I think if they can somehow get Atlas to make them an exclusive fighter, like,
It's
that would-
That's what you need
I
to
feel
do.
like,
Wow.
honestly, what I feel like the issue.
or sorry, not
is,
Atlas, Arc Systems.
Arc
sorry.
Systems, I was about to say.
Okay, that's still wow.
I still like
I
to see
feel like
Atlas
right
put their name
now
on it.
that when it comes to the whole fighting, I don't feel like Xbox is in a position where they can buy a studio because of like just managing that studio. I feel like they're in a position where they have to purchase, another
The
publisher.
whole publisher. Yep.
Yeah, for management purposes because it's grown.
I see what you're saying.
It's grown too big.
Not
Like the
necessarily.
overhead
No,
of purchasing
no.
a studio
I-
is not as difficult as buying a publisher that's kind of autonomous.
I do
I
kind
kind of
of
agree with
disagree with that a little because I really want to move on from this because I want also Jube's thoughts on this. I want the Xbox guys' thoughts on this basically. I do disagree with that because, like, in a hypothetical world, they could buy Double Helix and then place it under a publisher that they already own.
I mean, you would have to place it under Bethesda because it doesn't seem like they're interested in adding anything to Xbox Game Studios.
Well, yeah, they could do that. I mean, Bethesda doesn't have a studio for fighting games. They damn near got a fucking studio for everything else but that.
Maybe they don't trust Tom Howard with that. Maybe.
No, I've got. I'm gonna say it. I went on a rant about you fuckers when it came to Todd Howard on my fucking Fallout stream last week.
I'm saying maybe Phil doesn't trust him with that thing. Maybe he trusts him with what he trusts him with.
That motherfucker went from
And-
deified from fucking vilified to deified with the purchase of Bethesda. I fucking love it. Anyway, Jube, I want your opinions. What are your thoughts on what do you think of what I said about like are we seeing the turn on the curve, or is it still too early to talk about the curve because it's a franchise that has always historically done well? And I think the dreads are weighing down his head again.
Sorry, I had a drop there. Sorry.
Okay.
What's up?
Right. Do you think it's fair to use Forza Horizon 5 as an example of Xbox turning the curve, or do you say that it's still too early to say that, considering Forza historically has always been a 80 to 90 franchise?
I will ask you this question: have
Bitch,
sales for
don't!
that game have sales for that game gone up or down?
I don't know because I don't even know the numbers right now. I'll look them up.
Interesting. Have they?
I'll check.
I would say that they.
Well, we'll find out.
Without looking, I would say sales of the game have gone up because I think Forza Horizon 4 was the first one to release on Steam.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And it was like when Game Pass.
So I wouldn't say that sales went up because the game got better or it's a sign of the game being
Right.
like better or something like that. I would say it being available on a new,
Okay.
There.
Here's
new
the thing.
platform.
Here.
increased
Okay.
sales.
Actually, no. Forza's been on PC before. Forza Horizon 4 was
No,
on
it's
PC.
been on PC, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure Forza Horizon 4 was the first one to be on Steam.
So let me break this. Let me break this for you because this will answer your question, which is really fucking hilarious. But I do question: is this the peak already? Apparently, they already have over 1 million players, and the game's not even out yet.
Yep. All with the
That-
premium
that
edition.
Is nowhere
Right.
near the peak because that's
And that's
just
nowhere
people
near the peak.
who got the premium pack.
No, but that's the premium
Like,
pack for people who already bought it. I'm assuming that's a Game Pass
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
No,
it's not a PC.
that's the $100
Well,
Ultimate Edition thing. Yeah, that the $100
Steam
Ultimate
thing.
Edition is a
You
PC thing. That's not
either
a
bought
Steam
the
thing.
$100 edition or on
Yep.
Game Pass you bought the premium pack, which was $44.
Right.
That
But
doesn't count the people that only want to pay $60 for this game.
But
that
again, like I said,
they're gonna get to do that
Yeah,
tonight.
but but what I mean by peak is it going to go up by like another million, or is it only going to go up by like 100,000 now? Because like again, let's because my point is, this is in an ecosystem now that's been pushing Game Pass so goddamn fucking hard.
And the Game Pass version isn't even out yet. Like Dragon Slayer says,
it's gonna peak over 1 million. It might hit 2-3 million.
Oh no, it's already at 1 million.
200,000.
You gotta think about Christmas. You gotta think about Christmas and kids opening up their Xbox.
Okay, right. Okay, I'm gonna
download it and play it.
I'm gonna eat crow on this. Because because honestly, I didn't know about the Forza Horizon series. I didn't know the sales before. I actually have to eat crow, and so are you, Kofi. If it's reached 1 million players, it will probably reach another 9 because Forza Horizon 4 reached 10 million copies sold.
Yep. It's gonna blow past that. I feel that.
That's what I'm saying. You're probably gonna have like close to like 3 million concurrent players on Christmas Day.
Probably, maybe.
Oh, okay. That's what. Yeah, you were talking about concurrent players, right, Dante?
No. I was talking sales. No, I was talking sales, and concurrent players would also add the fact. But if they've already got 1 million players, that means they've already sold 1 million copies.
Yeah,
like that. If they've already got over 1 million, that means
they sold 1 million premium copies. They sold more than 1 million.
Yeah.
No, I mean currently with people playing, we can confirm that they've sold that many.
Yeah, at minimum. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But my whole point is, it's like people always complain like all Xbox has is Halo, Gears, and Forza. If that's the case, and this shit is actually stale and they're not doing anything with it, we would see declines in those things, and that's not what's happening.
We'll need to wait for the number because maybe with Game Pass aiding it, definitely I could probably see this hitting over 10 million. Yeah, definitely, especially with expanded fan base.
I will say, like, in a vacuum, you can't look at just Forza and be like, oh yeah, this is, a turning point for Xbox, because it's deeper than that. You have to look at
we're looking at everything.
We have to look at the total body. We have to look at the total body of work. Because I mean, when you factor in, okay, they dropped Psychonauts, which it being multi-platform, they still own the IP at this point. That's 80 to It's a 91 on the Xbox One somehow. It's you feel me?
Apparently,
that counts.
The game's already cracked. Apparently, the game's already cracked as well.
Yeah, that's happened.
Jesus Christ, that's bad. I mean, I doubt that's going to make a significant difference, but that's bad. For that to happen, your game ain't even out yet.
I mean, do you want them to have bullshit DRM in it? No.
No. You misinterpret what I'm saying. Like, there is some DRM out there that isn't entirely that bad, so long as it's not Devarro. Fuck Devarro. There's a reason why Doom Eternal got rid of it. But no, I'm just surprised that it was that fucking shot. Then again, it's nothing compared to a game that launched recently that actually launched without its DRM. Fucking morons. Alright, well, I don't want to go to Pharaoh because I think we gathered Pharaoh's point on this for the entire thing, unless he has something extended he'd like to add. Pharaoh?
I'll just say it's a good look. I'll end my point saying, like, you can't, in a vacuum, it's inconclusive, but overall, for like to close out this year, it's a good look. You got Age of Empires, you got you got solid shit coming out, and like now if Halo comes out in the 90s, you can't. It's going to be
indisputable. If Halo comes out in the
point.
Fucking 90s, I think that's more of a reflection.
If it's a 90, even if it's just 90, it doesn't even have to hit like 91. Like, it just hitting 90 alone is enough.
The reason why I couldn't entirely see that is because I'd see that more indicative of the God fucking Emperor himself finally getting their shit together at 343.
Agree. I just don't think 343 is excellent.
I don't think they're a good fucking developer. I'm sorry. I'm gonna fucking say I'm still having disconnection issues with
excellent
fucking
IP.
Halo 2.
It's a good game. I mean,
anyway,
a good dev.
Please, Pharaoh. Please.
What I was gonna add was that I think the narrative for Xbox has definitely changed, and it's even changing in the conversation that we're having right now. Now we're not talking about, Xbox needs, high quality games. We're saying we need to see it from new IPs. So now we're saying like, oh yeah, you have good games, you have good high quality games, but now we need to see it. Now we need to see you birth a new IP. Now the goalpost has moved.
Nah,
The narrative has definitely changed.
It absolutely has. No, it absolutely has.
In some instances, I agree. Originally, it was Xbox has no games. Now it's Xbox. Xbox has got games, but they need to be good. I wouldn't necessarily say it's. I wouldn't necessarily say it's that. I would say, okay, now let's see if these franchises like Doom, like Elder Scrolls, let's see if they are still good franchises under Microsoft. That's one thing I'm curious about.
That's a brand new purchase.
They can't possibly get any worse.
Brand new purchase. They haven't had a chance to do anything
I'm
yet.
sorry.
They have recently purchased that have had a chance to do something, like In Exile, like Double Fine. That's had a chance to release a game. They've released quality games.
Again,
right?
But my thing is with Double Fine, like I've said before, and I'm consistent on saying this, Double Fine wasn't, even though it's a game that they now own, it wasn't a game that was birthed or conceived under them. Like, let me explain.
Hellblade won't be birthed and conceived under them. But if it's a great
Hellblade
game,
2 is. That's why I just said Hellblade 2, because Hellblade 2 was conceived under them. Hellblade 1 wasn't
conceived, it was sequeled under them. The game was already made. The game was already.
But that's my point.
The universe was already existing.
But that's my point.
I'm pretty sure that the developer, when they finished the first game, they already had intentions for a second game. They may have not had the capital,
and that's why
to actually execute what they wanted to do. Just like Double Fine didn't have the capital to execute what they wanted to do when they made their game. Just like In Exile didn't have the capital to do what they wanted to do when they wanted to make Wasteland 3.
But
they knew that they wanted to make Wasteland 3. They knew they wanted to make Hellblade 2. They didn't have the money to make it how they wanted to make it. So now Xbox comes in, purchases them, and now they have the money to make the game that they want to make how they want to make it.
Okay, now let me retort to that. The thing is, Hellblade 1 was a good game. And what I'm talking about was, and it's the same, and I did actually just say this. Because I made the point with Elder Scrolls, if a game series can continue to be good under Xbox, Hellblade was made as an exclusive, but it wasn't made under Microsoft. Hellblade 2 is. Will that be good under Microsoft? Will Elder Scrolls be? Will Psychonauts 3 be? Because Psychonauts 2 was birthed, conceived, and grown into adolescence by Double Fine before they even were purchased out. And we still don't even know
how Psychonauts 2 doesn't have voice acting, it doesn't have boss fights if Xbox doesn't purchase them. It's a totally different game.
That's true.
If Xbox doesn't purchase them.
Voice acting, boss fights.
So shouldn't they get that credit? Like, shouldn't they get that credit? The same way, same thing with Wasteland 3. Wasteland 3 would have missed a lot of features had that game not been purchased, had an Exile not been purchased by Microsoft.
Am I not giving them credit? I'm specifically pointing out I want to see how franchises are continued from conception to birth, from adulthood to adolescence, which is what I said earlier.
You bring up Elder Scrolls. So you're telling me Elder Scrolls 6 hasn't had any development done on it until Xbox purchased them?
No, Todd Howard confirmed it. Todd Howard's confirmed that Elder Scrolls was still in early conceptual, was still in like when they announced it, it was still in not pre-production. They were still road mapping it. Because I believe he even mentioned that at E3. Like, all they had was the logo in the background, but like they even outright said, we are still in like the earliest concepts with that game. So it falls into like this. It almost falls into the same field as Starfield. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean for that to sound that like that. But it falls into that thing where it was by the time Microsoft earned them, it was still bought them. It was still being in the earliest of conceptions. And now it's fully under Microsoft. So Starfield falls under that category of a new IP directly under Microsoft, not one that they outright purchased. And Elder Scrolls falls under the concept for me of if a franchise from conception, because they bought it while it was still being conceived, from conception to birth to adolescence, will a ongoing franchise still be good under Microsoft, which I don't think is an awful thing which I don't think is a bad thing to be looking at, because you want to look at how existing franchises handle under new management and new leadership, and how new IPs are, because it's all about how Microsoft also handles working with or handles these new studios and publishers if they're hands-off or very hands-on.
So I think it's fair to say, Dante.
I think what you're saying is fair, but I feel like it's being said while ignoring the other new studios that they've recently purchased in the games that.
But it's
out.
not. I've never said anything.
No.
I've never said anything about. I've never said anything bad about Psychonauts. I'm saying with Psychonauts, like the game would have come out anyway and probably would have got a slightly lower rating, but would have still been a highly rated game, probably around the same as the original Psychonauts. But they deserve all the credit for actually putting in some capital to get extra boss fights and voice acting. Right. I gave them full credit for that, but I don't believe they deserve all the credit for being the like the masterminds behind it, like a lot of people are trying to say that they are. Wasteland, I absolutely give them credit for, because that game would not have actually happened if they'd not bought them out. So I'm fully on board with that. Another game to give an example to, as far as like from conception onwards under direct Microsoft management, is going to be State of Decay 3. Because they didn't own, they had the exclusive rights to State of Decay 2, but they didn't own them for when they made State of Decay 2, did they? But they owned them.
No, they didn't own them for either State of Decay. Yeah.
Exactly, but they own them for State of Decay 3. So that's another example of, can a series that's been ongoing, will it still have what made it special underneath Microsoft, etc., etc., etc.
I mean, it sounds like you two agree. Dante, you're basically saying I'll give some credit.
I agree with Dante, but my only gripe is that
he thinks I'm not giving Microsoft their respect.
Yeah, they've done it with the studios that they previously acquired prior to the Bethesda acquisition. And that's my thing.
And I'd agree, but like I agree with Wasteland. You're absolutely correct on. You're absolutely correct. And but Wasteland and I'm gonna try and tiptoe across eggshells when I say this. Wasteland is not a big studio. Like they're a decent sized studio, but they're not Bethesda. Like they're not the Elder.
They're not a publisher,
they're not. No, I mean like Bethesda GameWorks. They're not Bethesda GameWorks. They don't have that many people working for them. They don't have a franchise that, for some reason, people are still fucking buying on a 3rd gen console. Like, we give GTA shit, but we need to give Skyrim that same fucking shit with this fucking special edition. And like I said,
like, love what they love, man.
Shut up. Like, I'm just, for me, it's I've already laid out what I think. I just really want to see Microsoft succeed in the end. I want to see them. I want to know that these franchises like Elder Scrolls are still going to be, if not better than they were before Microsoft. Because I mean,
right.
We talk about it, and I've ripped them apart. But like the thing is like, for me, the thing that kind of tipped me over the edge was when, like, after this purchase, like, everybody was ripping from all sides was ripping Todd Howard a fucking new one. Like, for every little goddamn thing he did. But the moment this purchase went through, Todd Howard went from vilified to fucking deified.
I'll say, I wasn't ripping Todd Howard for nothing. I don't play any of his games.
Yeah, so you don't like his games anyway, just like us.
I like his games. I don't like how good they are.
You've never heard me be like, yeah, I can't wait. The only Bethesda game that I can say that like I truly liked playing was Prey. And I mean, I haven't tried, but at the same time, I haven't tried a bunch of Bethesda games. I haven't tried.
I did not like Fallout 4.
I'm playing that.
Prey is a little bit it's a little bit aged. But I recommend you play the first Prey. I don't know about the second Prey, but the first Prey, like, the story was hitting and the gameplay was pretty good.
Wait, dude. You know? Wait, hold on. The first Prey wasn't Bethesda. The first Prey was Human Head Studios.
Oh, well, shit, I didn't know that either. Like I said, I'm not a Bethesda guy.
No, Bethesda didn't own it until
I'm not gonna act like
Studios.
But like, Dante, what you're basically saying is you don't want big purchases to cloud your vision of seeing a studio manage things well. Right, because you could buy all these different studios, like let's buy this publisher, this publisher, this publisher. That doesn't necessarily mean that what management you were doing for all of your legacy studios have improved.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, and I get that.
Yeah,
that
I don't care if anything improves. As long as games come out and they're good, that's the matter.
I would think the only challenge is like, it unfortunately sometimes it sits at the damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If the next Doom comes out and it's fantastic, there's a very good chance most people are going to say, well, obviously it's Doom. So long as Microsoft didn't mess it up,
just like you're talking about Forza, it's just going to keep moving.
I do agree. Here's the thing. I agree with you. I agree with you, Zero. My thing is, I would look at it like, oh, so Microsoft handled this well. They didn't push any kind of bullshit. They handled it well. They let the team do the thing, or maybe they gave them a guiding hand and gave them a bigger budget. Microsoft did well. They just all I ask for is Microsoft, please don't fuck this up. You own literally 40 goddamn % of gaming out there now. Don't fuck it up. Like, all you need to do for me is not fuck it up. The next Elder Scrolls can't be Fallout 76. It just can't be. That's in the basis. That's all I'm asking for is don't fuck it up.
Fallout 77.
Anyway. Sorry.
To me, it's more like we don't want them to fuck up Bethesda, but we're just gonna ignore what happened with all, like, you know, Obsidian or whatever. You know,
like Tango GameWorks, I'm very excited for them. All the other studios that are them internal,
that's what I'm saying. Y'all don't care about the other little studios.
Yes, I do. I always talk about Shinji Mikami. I always talk about him.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. They are under Bethesda. Y'all care about y'all care about what the Bethesda studios do from here on out. Y'all don't care.
I'm sorry. Hold on. How many fucking times have I turned around and specifically said, I hope they don't let Tim Schafer anywhere near the financials of Double Fine? How many fucking times have I
exactly. Anything that Double Fine puts out, anything that NXL puts out, until further notice, oh, that's Game Pass fodder. Oh, it's a 90? We don't care about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. When did I suddenly turn off my fucking webcam and have a nasally voice? When the fuck did I become Omar? When the fuck have I ever turned around and said, it's Game Pass game fodder? No. I'm asking when the fuck.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm talking about the community consensus. Like, people only care about what happens next with Bethesda because that's the big purchase. So now the small. So all right, people care about Hellblade because of shock factor of when it was shown at the Game Awards. People care about Perfect Dark because of shock factor at the Game Awards. A lot of these smaller studios that they purchased, like In Exile and Double Fine, now fall under the radar, even though Double Fine just released a really good game. People are like, we're not gonna really get.
I can understand why that happens, though, when you take into consideration what I just said about Bethesda when I said you literally own 40% of gaming out there now because of the amount of fucking shit Bethesda fucking owns. Like ZeniMax, and let's be fair. We're not just talking fucking Bethesda. We're talking ZeniMax. We're talking about it's ZeniMax, like their head fucking honchos they bought. They bought ZeniMax. They didn't buy Bethesda publisher. They didn't buy Bethesda the gamer. They bought fucking ZeniMax. They bought the whole fucking pyramid scheme. So, like I said, that's like 40% of fucking gaming out there right now.
And we underestimate the possibility that, Bethesda could grow, internally. Not Xbox adding a new studio, but they could, grow another team or another studio inside of Bethesda internally.
And I'm hoping Todd Howard is as far away from it as possible.
Me too. Me too.
I like Oblivion. I like Skyrim. I like Fallout 3. I even like aspects of Fallout 4. I like aspects of Fallout 4. What I don't like is the fact that quests can get bugged. I don't like the fact that I'm seeing dragons flying backwards. I don't like the fact that I've got fucking radiant fucking assholes telling me a settlement needs my help. I don't like the fact that I can't go on a goddamn fucking murder spree and kill everybody because this motherfucker just happens to be a goddamn plot critical NPC. I don't like the fact that I'm being sold mods made by a community in your fucking creation club. I don't like the fact that you're forcing me to use your goddamn fucking installer, your fucking launcher on PC. I don't like the fact that Fallout 76 exists. I don't like the fact that you don't care about your own internal fucking lore. I don't fucking care about the fact that you just keep, for some reason, using the same fucking engine since Morrowind. I just want Todd Howard gone.
Reach.
Yo.
Reach. I'm right there in the quiet with you.
Here's the thing. If Starfield is a flop, Todd Howard's the fuck out of there, bro.
Yeah,
he's done. He's absolutely done.
And to add on to that, I don't care about 16 times the detail.
I don't think Starfield is gonna be a flop.
No, bro. You forgot the best part.
God race. It just works. I don't care that it just works. And I don't care that the fact that you tongue-in-cheek admit that modders fix your fucking games. There is still shit in Fallout 4 that doesn't work without the unofficial Fallout 4 patch.
Oh
I don't think that that's gonna happen under Microsoft's eye.
I don't think that's gonna happen under Microsoft either. And
they're like y'all. They're literally gonna be in we spent way too much money on y'all for y'all to fuck this up.
Right there is what I'm asking for. That right, hold on, Pharaoh. Give me a sec before you begin. That right there, what you literally just said, that is not gonna happen under Microsoft. That right there is what I'm waiting for. That is the thing that I want. Right. So, good, Pharaoh, go, please.
What I was going to say about Starfield is I don't think it's going to be bad. Because the one thing I will give, Sony credit for is that they don't buy bad timed exclusives. And they tried to buy Starfield.
That's true.
Well, you do make a good point on that one.
Yeah,
Sony knows what's up.
Okay.
Oh, by the way,
actually, no. They bought time exclusivity for COD, and that game's a piece of dog shit. So you're
thank God.
Hold on,
you're wrong on that one point. But
to be clear, they brought the price on that one though.
Yeah, you forgive Call of Duty because Call of Duty, they're not buying Call of Duty because it's a good game. They're buying Call of Duty because it already has a mass player base.
Because everybody the numbers come anyway. Trash.
Two things. Thank you, Dragon, for doing my research for me because I was just going on that fucking rant that I'm glad everybody got a chuckle out of, especially Jubei. As of June 2021, so this is long after the Microsoft purchase. Again, just going towards what I was saying. It's
2020.
2021, June 2021.
You said long after the. I got you.
Yeah.
Or long before. Okay.
No. This article came out in June 2021, which was after the Bethesda purchase, like a while after. This is what it says. It's good to think of Elder Scrolls 6 as still in the design phase, says Todd Howard. So, like I said, it's literally being conceived under Microsoft now because it's still in the design phase.
Okay, after the acquisition, gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, Starfield. Still on the fucking creation engine. That's been confirmed. Apparently, it's called the Creation Engine 2, so hopefully it got rid of some of the bugs. Again, there are bugs in that fucking engine that have been there since Morrowind that haven't been fixed. It's like modders are the fucking free exterminators. Oh, don't worry, we'll squash these bugs for you. Anyway, speaking of bugs, let's talk animations. In fact, let's talk about delays as well. Let's talk about, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Elden Ring. Let's talk about Elden Ring and the gameplay that was shown for Elden Ring. So everybody knows that Elden Ring got delayed. But From Software did not leave us wanting. They gave us some beautiful gameplay, but also some very telling gameplay, in my opinion. First of all, the game looks really nice. The game really does look nice. It looks like it's going to be a fucking open world game, which is quite interesting. Like, and I'm talking more open world than like what than I don't, and I mean more open than what other Dark Souls games or Souls-like games have been. And the fact that you're fighting a big giant dragon on horseback is nothing to scoff at either. I fucking love this idea. And the fact that apparently fall damage is gone. So fuck yes! Where I take umbrage with this. And I think this is because I have said many times that I believe that Sekiro was their magnum opus. Right, I think I've said it on here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's no debate. I'm not gonna argue that.
Here's my problem. Sekiro, you might find a couple of recycled animations. You just might, but predominantly the game feels very, very different from a Souls game, in my opinion. From like Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. A lot faster, even Bloodborne, it's a lot faster. Combat requires a lot, in my opinion, requires a lot more fucking thought going into it, as well as timing on blocks. It's a lot more flashier. So I look at the gameplay, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. But then something starts clicking with me. And I notice some of these animations I remember seeing in Dark Souls 1. And I get the idea of using, like, reusing animations and shit like that. I do get it. Sometimes you smooth them out. Sometimes you change them. There is a lot of fucking animations from previous Dark Souls games in this game. But this is not meant to be Dark Souls, apparently. Like, I'm sure the game is going to be great. I'm sure I'm going to fucking enjoy it. But I don't know. Maybe after playing Sekiro and seeing how much that seemed to have moved things forward, and why I say that I believe that was the magnum opus of From Software, why in my head, maybe I'm asking too much, maybe I am, why am I seeing, from what some people have told me, literal animations dating back all the way to 2007 with Demon Souls?
So, I want to jump in really quick because you're going to have to interrupt me in certain parts. I've not played several of the Dark Soulsborne games because, to be honest, I just didn't get around to them. So, like the original Demon Souls and the Demon Souls remake, I've played. Bloodborne, I've played, and I've also, in terms of Dark Souls, I'll be honest, Dark Souls never really interested me, except for the one that everybody hates. Scholars of the First Sin, I actually like. So when I see this and you mention that the animations are the same, it only clicked with me when you mention it. Or like when I think of it, I'm like, yeah, it reminds me of like Monster Hunter and how Monster Hunter before, even like into the new engine one world, the animations are kind of like, wow, those are the same things. But like, I guess to me, and the thing is, I just got Sekiro on sale. Yep. So I haven't played Sekiro, but I just got on sale. It's a very good price. I guess I'm kind of like out of the loop on the Soulsborne games in the last like year and a half, and I'm kind of coming back. And seeing this and the open world with the combat that I love so much, it's kind of refreshing. And I don't feel how dated, like I don't have that, oh, that looks kind of dated feeling. I think there's just enough for me to, like when that scene where he's approaching the castle and like the guy, I guess he's trapped, he's like, don't go in the main entrance, right? He's like, take the side entrance. I loved that. I ate that up. I was like, this is gonna be amazing. But maybe that's just me having not played each and every game. You know, I think it'll beat you down if you do Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, and then you're playing this and you're like,
that might be that is a fair goddamn point, considering I did play Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 in a single fucking year. So there might be some validation to that, but it also makes it fresh in my memory to be able to point them out. But for me, it's the fact of so little. To me, it screams like little effort. Like, for example, there's two animations that just stick immediately out in my head. There is the critical attack, where you get a character down and you can hit a critical on them. I'm showing gameplay now. The critical is actually coming up very soon. The critical is legitimately damn near identical, if not the same, from Dark Souls 1. There are some different ones, like the critical where you just stab the dude on the ground. I've actually not seen that in Dark Souls before. This critical right here.
That reminds you of Demon's Souls, yeah.
No, you can trace this back because someone's already got a fucking animation comparison out there. If you guys want me to show you, I can throw it up on screen. But this critical animation right here is basically the heavy weapon critical animation from Dark Souls fucking 1. This one right here.
That back attack.
No, she's smacking him in the front with the big giant broadsword. But in the first Dark Souls game, it makes more sense when you do that with a big fuck off club you've got to hold in 2 hands. Because again, it's meant to be done with heavy weapons. Now that animation right there, where she dashes backwards, is right out of Dark Souls 3. With one of the special weapons that allows you to jump backwards. Like I said, there is just so and the lighting it's not a bonfire, but getting the thing in the game where you rest, that's straight out of Dark Souls 3.
Oh.
Like this is new. This whole summoning thing, that is entirely new. That's cool. That's moving it forward. I just wish that certain weapons didn't, because there's going to be a lot of weapons, like a lot of that stab animation, that whole animation right there of the execution is the exact same from all previous Souls games. Give me a second, because I'm gonna while I talk, I'm gonna. This is a state of grace. No, it isn't. What the fuck? Sorry about that. My apologies. All right, here you go. It is going to be a side-by-side comparison, predominantly with Elder Scrolls 3, so you're going to have to take my word for it, but a lot of these are from previous Souls games. This one, he got slightly wrong. The dragon actually reuses a lot of animations, not entirely from the Nameless King fight, but mid-gear, from the Ring City DLC, who is probably one of the hardest fucking bosses ever. Like I said, there's clearly a lot of things in here, because you can never ride a horse in the previous games. Like, that's new. There's a couple of different things, but like overall, for a game that I wish stood out a bit more from Dark Souls, it sure as shit wearing Dark Souls fucking skeleton.
Jeez. Wow. Just seeing that side by side is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, since I never
I get your point. I get your point. And because Dante literally played him this year, he's just like, I just fucking seen this. Like,
yeah. And again, Dark Souls 3 came out in 2017.
Yeah.
And then we had Sekiro that had so much more to it. Again, maybe I was
completely different animations just because it was a. I'm sure
if you nitpick the fuck out of it, you could probably find like a number of animations, but they blend in so different. They blend in with a lot of the other animations that go on. I mean, for fuck's sake, the fucking emotes are the goddamn same.
Yeah, it's like the concepts for this game were maybe, a little bit older than we might think.
Well, I don't know if old is the right thing so much as exactly as planned.
True.
That's true.
Because the creator had said, I mean, I watched it today because I'd forgotten about it, and I was like, well, this feels a lot like Dark Souls meets The Witcher.
This month, by the way, the same dude also turned around and said he's not making another Dark Souls game at one point as well after 3. I'd just like to point that out.
I mean, this technically is not a Dark Souls game.
But it's not. It's not. By the way, that skeleton
Really?
animation is the fucking that skeleton animation right there. I don't know if this dude shows it. That skeleton animation is straight out of the previous fucking Souls games as well. It's the same. By the way, I'd also like to point out, and I'm not 100% on it. I'm pretty fucking sure if I look back at the previous Souls games, that's the same fucking model as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone on record to say this is the natural evolutions of the Souls game, which means we'll probably find a lot of the blueprint of the souls in this.
And that's where I take umbrage. Because in my opinion, after having played it, the fucking chest is the same as well. Fuck, I never even noticed that. The natural evolution for me was Sekiro. Like, hands down, the natural evolution for this series was Sekiro.
Right, but listen to his words. For the Souls games.
But
for the Souls genre, he said, I want to make it Sekiro is not a Dark Souls game. It's a Soulsborne genre game, but it's not a Dark Souls game. The same way that Neo is not a Dark Souls game. He is making an open world Dark Souls game. He is telling us he wanted to make one. I do understand your position on it, but like, I don't necessarily think he's coming from a bad place. You know, the Souls games have been sort of self-contained, and an evolution for them is to open up that world and to be something bigger. To me, this feels much more similar to what Zelda has been doing for the past couple of years than what the Soulsborne genre is doing. Because the Soulsborne genre is evolving and moving past. We've got Sekiros, we've got Neos, because the spirit things reminded me of Neo. The moment I saw them, I was like, that's the exact same thing I can do in Neo. Summon spirits to help me.
Sorry, that just made me chuckle. It's like the one amazing thing about this game that is new, that is pushing the envelope for From Software games. No fucking fall damage. This side-by-side comparison, I want you to watch it. This is beautiful. That makes me more happier than you could imagine.
You died.
You died. Splat. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure there's going to be a lot new to this game, but for me, when it comes to the natural evolution, I feel that should include basically when I use a blade that is basically the size of a fucking human body, I shouldn't whack it into them like I'm whacking them with a skeleton. I would like to see a new animation where I lift it over my head and split their head like a fucking watermelon. Like, I want to see that big giant fucking Buster Sword implanted in that dude's fucking cranium before I kick him off. I don't want to see myself just whack him in the fucking stomach with it and then him going flying a few feet on the second whack. No, the first whack should have cleaved the fucker in half. Unless it's Guts' sword. But even then, Guts' sword can cleave a motherfucker in half, and that fucker is dull as a motherfucker. You get my point?
Yeah, I kind of get your point. Like, I had this issue was my issue with Monster Hunter series. I'm sure Reggie knows this well. Like, I tried to enjoy the game came out on PS2.
I'm getting
then
audio bleed.
PSP.
Hold on, Kofi. Sorry, but we're getting audio bleed here.
Oh, can you hear me now?
It's not from you. It's Jubei.
Oh, whoops.
Continue, Kofi, please. Sorry.
No problem. So PS2 had some releases, and then PSP had 2 releases, and it was like some of these backwards animations. Like, for example, I'm trying to think of one, Reggie. Like, if you're hit by wind, when the wyvern's flying from behind you, you would still get pushed backwards.
Still push backwards, yeah.
It's like you can't give me an animation where I get pushed forward. Like, you need that $5 to pay the guy to do another motion capture for this. And to see that go on and on and on, and then finally, World made the whole difference. And so, to your point, this is their chance.
This is their chance.
We have a new gen. You had the Sekiro. I'm sure Sekiro's making money because that game don't really drop in price. I don't know if y'all seen it don't really drop in price. So they making good money right now. But they didn't. They aren't impressing Dante, who's super down on it right now. So. I think you got a point, my guy.
The animations are not impressing me. Like, I'm sure the game world itself, the environment, the fights, they will invigorate me. And maybe I'll forget it. But what I just don't like is the fact that we're literally fucking 5 games in at this point. And every single heavy weapon whacks a motherfucker with a critical the same goddamn way. Like, I guarantee you, when this game comes out, all heavy weapons that require 2 hands, like that big giant sword you saw, if you've got, like, especially that giant club, when he smacked that pot out of the ground with that giant club, I guarantee you, the critical attack for that club and the critical attack for that giant sword you saw do that critical are going to be the exact same animation.
I feel you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like that with the giant club, I wouldn't have minded if it stayed the same. Like if you'd smack them in the body and then fucking tee off on their head like a fucking baseball, like Jose Canseco. And with the giant sword, you basically kick them down and then embed that motherfucker in his cranium like fucking Link returning the Master Sword to its pedestal. Like, just differentiate, make each weapon feel different. Don't just class it as one class of weapon that does the same kind of animation. I did not mean for this to sound like I'm shitting on this game, because I am still looking forward to this game. I've still got my fucking pre-order down on it, because god damn it, I love to suffer. I actually just wanted also people's general thoughts from what they saw. Jube, I actually want your thoughts on this. What did you think from what you saw?
I think it looks, like a Souls game. I honestly haven't played Dark Souls 3. At least not anything close to what you've done. I did enjoy Sekiro a lot.
No one should do what I did. Nobody, for your own mental fucking health and sanity. No one should.
I wouldn't attempt it. I'm not stupid. So I wouldn't have. Not to say that you're stupid, but I'm not dumb enough to do that. But I did enjoy what I saw. As long as the lore and the world building's there, I think it's going to be a good time. But this is we gotta kind of wait for it to come out. Hopefully hopefully there's enough Sekiro in there to keep me, because that's my problem with Souls games. Like, I hate being on the defensive. I liked the aggression that I got in Sekiro, because it made the game more appealing to me, instead of, oh yeah, I have to make sure I dodge and then
you would
conserve my stamina to get a hit in.
You would like Dark Souls 3 then. Honestly, you actually would, because Dark Souls 3, though it is very much a Dark Souls game, it does actually allow for that kind of aggressive play, because by default your stamina does recover quite fucking quickly. Like, I think it's actually the quickest that it regens in all of all the From Software games, actually.
Yeah, I just wish there wasn't a stamina bar. That's my only thing. So.
Yeah, I can understand that. Zero, what are your thoughts?
I don't run up into a lot of things that I guess others do, but I think it's the same thing. I'm glad you brought it up, Kofi. Monster Hunter was a thing I thought about this too. I guess people who are really, really into Dark Souls are gonna run up against the same way. Just like, we've got a friend who's really, really into Monster Hunter. Wasn't that big of a fan of World, even though he played it a lot. It was because they got rid of a lot of stuff that he was very used to, or didn't improve on the things that he'd been playing for the last couple of years. But I found the game to be actually kind of fascinating. It's The Witcher meets Dark Souls, which I think is a cool way for that series to go. It is, and I guess it has to be by design, probably. It's very barren. It feels a little like Breath of the Wild, and I know people hate me saying that.
No, actually, I agree. I wanted to bring that up, but I felt like you might have brought it up first. I was thinking the same thing. It does feel like they've taken the open world approach of Breath of the Wild. Because, again, this seems open world. I'm not entirely sure if it is, but it seems like they've taken the Breath of the Wild approach to open world and made a Souls game into it.
That's exactly what I got the feeling was. Particularly, there's a scene in the trailer where he's, I guess, hunting down, and he stabs a dude in the back with an arrow and stuff, and that entire layout reminded me so much of the ruins of Hyrule. And down to how the actual ruins were stacked and how they were curved. And truth be told, they're probably just general ruins, but that Breath of the Wild did not invent. But the moment I saw that, I said, this feels awfully familiar. And then, I flashed you, well, this is probably what people want Breath of the Wild to be, right? They want HD, super realistic, super violent Breath of the Wild. And now it's here. Dark Dark Souls looks to be it, like because the magic looks fantastic.
I will say that it seems like it looks like they've expanded magic, and it actually looks impressive, especially the magic bow that he used.
Yeah, or like there's the scene where like he summons the magic arrows or rain, and another guy uses fire. It feels like it got it took all of the pieces of the Dark Souls game and a couple of other games and kind of rolled them into one. How they all gel together, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
That's gonna be interesting.
The story is written by George R.R. Martin.
So this is actually a misconception that I think I helped spread as well, which I have to take back. From what I've additionally read, George R.R. Martin was predominantly brought on to basically write the world, not necessarily the story of the game itself, but to basically write the world and flesh out the world. So he basically wrote the lore of the world and like how the world runs and shit like that. But the story, I believe, was written in house, like the story that's taking place inside of that world. He's the dungeon. He is the leader of this MMO. Of this Dungeons and Dragons game. He's made the world. Now the other guys are coming in to make the story for it.
Say, I guess, and for a Dark Souls game, I think it's a thin hair to split, right?
Because no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Dark Souls might not be upfront with a lot of its story until 3. But Dark Souls is tremendously packed with lore, and there are.
Hold on. Now, let's just rewind what you just said. It's not open until the 3rd game, which means the first 2 games.
I need to explain, and I do need to explain this. So there is a story to all 3 games. Like there is a story. Like you know, because Dark Souls 1 has 3 endings actually, I believe, 2 or 3 endings. One of them is only accessible if you've read enough and know about the world. But like all of the games themselves have like a ridiculous amount of lore. There is channels that have gotten millions of subscribers just off of talking about Dark Souls lore. Like the lore is massive is massive to a lot of people. Like to the Dark Souls to the Souls community, the lore is as important to the game as the combat.
Which would make sense, but again, and I won't dwell on it because I still think it's a bit of a hair split here in the sense that like that lore doesn't exist without the backstory of this world.
No, and what I'm saying is George R.R. Martin wrote that backstory.
Right, he wrote the backstory.
Yeah,
right.
But like the developers are writing the story that is going on inside of that world.
True, and that's what I mean by splitting hairs. They're part and parcel. They work together.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't like.
What I'm saying is he didn't write the story.
No, he did not write
the story. Going through. He didn't write your character's story.
No, he wrote the character of the world of which your character is a part of.
Yeah.
So I just think I look forward to it actually. What is this on? I've not followed Elden Ring at all.
PlayStation 5. It's on everything.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not out, but it is on everything. I actually thought that it was going to be next gen only, but it isn't. It's actually on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Because I've been missing so much of the From games as of late. I mean, I did get Sekiro on sale, but I think I want to try this one sooner than later. But also, guys, I'm really sorry. It is getting late for me.
Yeah, don't worry. I just want to quickly get Jubei's thought. If you can stay around for like 5-10 minutes, I want to get Jubei's thoughts, Pharaoh's thoughts on what they thought, and then we're going to be signing out. And you can do your sign out first. We kind of went a little long on the second topic than I wanted to.
Yeah.
So Jubei, what are your thoughts?
You already went to me.
Sorry, my apologies. All right, my apologies. I'm tired myself. Pharaoh, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I saw the gameplay trailer. I watched right before the show started. I mean, I thought the game looked good. I mean, I get the hype behind it. I'm not really a big Souls guy like some of you guys are, but I mean, I thought it showed well from what I seen.
Alright, fair.
So, I mean, I really don't have much. I thought the game looked good. I thought the dragon fighting looked good. The world looks pretty damn beautiful.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
So, I mean, I think it's gonna be a good game. I mean, if I was gonna predict the score, I'd probably say mid 80s, 85ish.
I think it's gonna be lower than Sekiro, and I think Sekiro's sitting at like a 90 or something.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a 90 game to me, but it looks like a strong 80 game. It looks like a game that like 7 months after it launches will have a holiday DLC attached to it or some shit.
Oh no! From Software are very, very fucking. They're very sporadic with their DLCs. You probably won't see a DLC for like 6 months.
7.
Yeah, by the way, Sekiro sits at a 90 on PlayStation 4, 88 on PC, and 91 on Xbox.
Yeah, so I think it looks like a good game.
Yeah.
Like I know you as a person who's played a bunch of them, you see the reviews, the animations and stuff like that, but being that I don't play a bunch of them.
Yeah. I'm being a bitch. I'll admit, I'm being a bitch on that, and I am looking forward to the game, and I'm going to be buying it day one. Okay, let's get to our outros, ladies and gentlemen, because that is it. Kofi, tell us where you can tell us where we can find you and what you're doing before you hit that fucking eject to seat button.
Yeah. Guys, you'll find me back on Twitter probably on Thursday. I'm actually just going to continue to enjoy the time away from the Twitter drama at this point. I still got some translations to do in my spare time. Otherwise, still playing Trails, man. I'm just really drilled down on that game. After that, back to short stuff. I got what's it called for like, what was it? It was like $15. The Resident Evil 3 remake. I want to play that.
Oh,
Jill fan. So.
Okay, I do hope you enjoy that. Temper expectations, and by the way, bring and I mean this diligently as well as a friend. If you play Inferno mode, bring lube. Alright, Pharaoh, where can people find you? Hold on, let me hit
you. You can find me on Twitter at Pharaoh Bizarre, Twitch at Land of Pharaoh, Facebook at Pharaoh Bizarre streaming. Yeah, that's where you find me.
Alright, now for the Red
YouTube
Ranger.
Pharaoh Bizarre.
YouTube Pharaoh Bizarre as well. Alright, now time for the Red Ranger himself. Jubei, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Jubei Sensei on Twitter, Jubei X Sensei everywhere else. I'm about to go do some dishes and then hop back into this Forza though.
Domesticated.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
I won't say domesticated. I mean, we're in Mexico, baby. Living up. Riding through the mountains. Beaches.
You can find me at Dante Crisis on Instagram, Twitter, the Dante Crisis on Facebook, Dante Crisis on Twitch, YouTube, and DLive, doing a playthrough of Dr. Muto and Back 4 Blood on YouTube, with Assassin's Creed coming soon, and streaming Astral Chain today on Tuesday, Halo 2 on Legendary Wednesday, and Mass Effect 3 on Insanity, and we're going to be doing the Omega DLC. Zero, where can people find you? But more importantly, where can people find us?
Well, guys, you can, of course, find me at 0x386 pretty much everywhere. As always, thanks for listening. When you could have literally done anything else, you decided to listen to us. And, of course, you can find us pretty much anywhere major podcast networks are being put on. So if we're not one of your favorite podcasts, we are definitely number 2 under your favorite podcast. So just go follow us after you listen to them. Like, comment, subscribe, and when we all separate from here, please go off to our individuals, Land of Pharaoh, Dante, Jubei, watch Kofi for his translations. He'll be back. Check out Omar and Game Slayer, and just harass FC because he's the worst.
No knees, Mr. No Knees FC.
And as always, thanks for listening to us.
Yes, and thank you so goddamn much for coming by, everybody. And remember, keep it gaming. Okay, we out of here. Peace.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside. All all alone.
Hey. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G.